Three is up and short, and there it is. Duke on to the Elite Eight, and two young coaches will greet at midcourt. The Wildcats season will come to an end, but not without a lot of pride here, as they have done everything they can against maybe the best team in the nation. We'll find out Saturday and maybe next week as well. 193, Duke beats Arizona. The Wildcats will head home after another outstanding season.
We wanted it so bad. We wanted to win that game. We wanted to, with every inch in our body, and they made more plays than us, down the stretch throughout the whole game, and but my teammates as tough as they can be. I smile because that just shows how what we went through, and the things that we fought back from being 4-5 to start the season, and I think that just goes to a testament of how tough and how solid we were as a group.
There was a famous movie, I don't know if it was real famous, but it was a movie called The Day After Tomorrow. It's kind of about the Northern Hemisphere freezing over kind of movie. I kind of feel like this is the day after yesterday and the end of the Arizona basketball season. School doesn't get out for, another month plus, about another 6 weeks to the end of the school year. But I almost feel like this is like the end of the year for us because we are so involved in these Arizona Wildcat game days. 49 game days from the beginning of September, end of August, somewhere in that neighborhood, through the month of March. It kind of equates out to about 7 game days a week, although, during the first couple of months, we really only have like 4 a month during football season. And then there's the crossover where it seems like we have a game day almost every day during certain parts of November, and then several a week, December, January, February, and even more in March when you get into the tournament phase, and now that it's over, it's almost like, wow, it's almost like school. Do you feel, J-Dub and Dragon Ball, like school's out almost, like right now? Like this is the last day kind of school, even though we're going to still be doing shows, but it's almost like it's the end of that really, really busy part of our year.
Don't we have finals still?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think
that's a thing, right?
The final was last night.
I mean, I know I've got to schedule my study group here at some point.
August 31st was the first football game. August 31st was our first pre- and post game of this year.
Full 7 months. It was really weird. Like last Saturday, I think, was the first Saturday we didn't have a game since like December.
Right.
It had been like 8 weeks or something, and I almost felt like I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. It's like it's Saturday and I don't have a game to do, a game to get ready for, a game to talk about because the game was on Sunday last week. But this will be the actual beginning of for me, some weekends. So you guys will be working a little bit.
The oddest part for me, DK, was the Big 12 scheduling because after 45 years of Thursday, Saturday,
right,
like clockwork, this year having games Friday, Monday, Tuesday. I mean, the way the Big 12 schedule worked out, it was odd, when you get home at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday night. It was not something that we were used to doing.
No.
But I'll tell you what, 49 game days well spent. I mean, we said it all last night on the post-game show, but it's always a great experience to be able to listen to callers call in and talk about their emotions, their thoughts behind it, all the experts that we are able to get on. So just a real quick thanks to everybody who's been involved in all of our game days we've done here at Wildcats Radio 1290 over the last 7 months.
Yeah, it's been a whole lot of fun. It was a great run on the basketball side. Obviously did not necessarily end the way we wanted it to last night with a loss to the Duke Blue Devils 193. But Tommy Lloyd, 3 Sweet 16s in 4 years. That is nothing to sneeze about for sure. It's a great place that the program is in. Very continuing to keep Arizona basketball at the forefront of college men's basketball. And again, I've said it before, I think if you can continually be at a certain level, there's going to be some years where you fall into even better than that because you have the talent to do that. And one of these days, hopefully sooner rather than later, the Wildcats are going to have that talent, to be talented enough to get past some of these teams that they've come up against in the most recent years and get back to that Final Four destination that we all desire to get back to. It's interesting. I mean, it's been 24 years now, and you kind of start to wonder who he is. I mean, you have to admit it kind of starts to creep in. Is the Wildcats, are they ever going to get back to another Final Four? I mean, that's a quarter century almost, an entire generation that has not lived that. And we're going to talk later in the show with a guy that not only went to one but two Final Fours wearing an Arizona Wildcat jersey. Justin Wessel is going to join us. You might remember the name. He was a part of the Arizona Wildcats basketball program in the late 1990s, early 2000s. He was here around the time of all those guys: Jason Terry, Miles Simon, Mike Bibby, and then on the back end, Richard Jefferson, Gilbert Arenas. I mean, he played with all those guys. I mean, so he kind of transcended two different Final Four runs for this program. So we'll get his thoughts on Arizona basketball and where it is, and maybe hopefully get some memories out of him about his time as a player here and some of the things that he went through to get to where they are. And you know, is this enough? Are we settling for less than what this program is all about? I mean, I said it last week. For me, the baseline has always been Sweet 16. If you can get to that place, I think you can call it a successful season. We'll get Justin's thoughts on that and see what he has to say about what this program means to him and how good this program should be.
I got a fun stat for you. It's a lot of the same names in the Final Four is kind of how it works. Mm-hmm. So here's a stat. The number of teams who went to their first Final Four in the last 30 years is 12. 12 teams made their first Final Four appearance ever since the turn of the century.
Right.
And UConn's in that group too. Mm-hmm. And people think of UConn with their 6 titles. 1999 was UConn's first ever Final Four. 1999. It's UConn, Maryland, George Mason, Butler, VCU, Gonzaga, South Carolina, Auburn, Texas Tech, Florida Atlantic, Miami, San Diego State, and Alabama. So it's the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the Kentuckys, the Kansases. These are the Michigan States, made a lot of those appearances. It's so hard to look back 25 years ago, DK, and then you look at the players who are 21 years old, 22 years old, who weren't born. So the relativity to the current Arizona roster and any kind of length of time, I've always just seen it as each season is its own thing. And what we talked about a lot is pressure, DK. So there's outside noise. There's a lot of people who've been around the program for 40 years, and they may have conversations with current players about some kind of drought, not being able to get over that hump, right?
Right.
But the outside noise is all it is from those guys. So it's up to the individual players how much pressure is on them to be the, quote, first team to make the Final Four from Arizona since 2001. Each year is so unique, and it's really a matter of the chemistry of the team, the talent on the team, and the opponents that you face along the way. And guys, that opponent they faced last night, the 19-point deficit in the fight they had to come back versus a very, very good Duke team with a lot of pieces to make a really deep run. And I think when you lose in the first round to maybe a school you've never heard of before, a lot of Arizona fans remember those years most, but there's no shame in losing to a number 1 seed and a team that's playing really good basketball right now.
With 3 lottery picks playing on the court at the same time. And not to mention also, let's think about this in perspective as well. How much would Malawak be measured up against a healthy Krivas? Again, we got to also mention the health of these teams also plays a big factor in it. KJ Lewis had the wrist injury. We had a couple of guys that were a little bit banged up. And, hey, give credit to Conrad Martinez, who had that little bit of like the jitters in his system when he threw that pass long to Anthony DeLorso, went out of bounds.
A little bit of extra adrenaline.
Yeah, a little bit extra adrenaline. Then he came back and hit the 3 when the one shot he was asked to make in that game. It's like, okay, he got it out of his system, but he responded. And that's what that game was. It was Arizona's ability to respond. And depending on how many guys you get back for this next year, you're going to have a lot of that mentality coming in for the guys that will be coming in to join them. That's going to be a big part too.
That Arizona's taken to the Final Four came on the heels of losing early in the tournament, and that same group of guys spending the whole summer steaming about it in the rec center and in the weight room, and then coming back more focused than ever to make a deeper run. And in the NIL transfer portal era, you see a lot of new faces switching teams, switching programs midsummer. And those players who do come back for next year's team will certainly be hyper motivated, as always, to do even better than they did the year before and help whoever joins the team along the way have that same mentality and that same goal.
And real quick, to go back to what you said, DK, about the fans getting a little bit restless over the lack of Final Four appearances going back to 2001. Do you think Colorado Buffalo football fans are restless in the fact that they haven't won a national championship since 1990? Are Jets fans getting a little restless over the fact that they've only been to 4 AFC championship games since they won the Super Bowl in the 60s? I mean, restlessness among fan bases, it happens, but it makes that journey, that drive to the success, make it all the more memorable. And that I was there for all the heartbreak. Arizona fans will go ahead and think to themselves, I was there even through that loss to Princeton, through that loss to Santa Clara, and all those other moments that's going to say, I stuck with this university and still showed my support regardless.
And let's be very clear. Outside of some very irrational fan bases, there's only about 15 or 20 teams that start the year with aspirations to cut the nets down at the end of March. And so the agony comes from hope, comes from the idea that the roster you see before the first ball is ever tipped, before the season even starts, is one that has the potential with great coaching to maybe make it to the Final Four, maybe win a title. And so you have to assess big picture. Why is the Arizona fan base in general so salty about no titles, no Final Fours since 97, 2001? Well, it's because there's been a lot of those years, DK, that Arizona had a very, very good roster, had a quality team, and could potentially make those runs. 365 D1 schools can win a title, and one does every year. So 364 sad fan bases, but it's those 20 that start the season with aspirations that really kind of feel hurt. And Arizona's been hurting now for a while. And one of these years, guys, they'll get back there. It's just a matter of time.
And you have to I think you have to take pride in the consistency of this program, because I've talked about it before. I mean, you brought up some of the names. You think about South Carolina. They got to the Final Four a few years ago, and now they're back down at the bottom of college basketball. They're not a great program. It's just 2017 when they went to the Final Four, and now they're back among the dregs of the SEC. Georgetown has been to a Final Four more recently than Arizona, but where's Georgetown now? They're not what they used to be. Arizona has been consistent. They have not taken that crater off the cliff drop that some of these other programs have taken.
You want a number for that consistency, DK?
Yeah.
So the AP poll started in 1949. And if you take every single weekly AP poll from 1949 to 2025, and you add up all the numbers of all the rankings that every team's ever had, Arizona is sixth all time. Sixth all time in AP poll voting points. The only teams ahead of them are UCLA, Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky.
There you go.
The only teams. So it's one of the most consistent, one of the 10 most consistent basketball programs in the country over the length of the history of college basketball.
All right, we are joined by cricket. Now, cricket, it is we're kind of getting this feeling because the games are over now in terms of our game day broadcast. So it's almost like we're about to go on summer break.
Are you excited?
I'm ready for a little bit of less chaotic weeks.
We get Saturdays off now, cricket.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Finally,
happy for you guys.
7 months of Saturdays.
7 months of Saturdays is going to be nice to look. Except for Dragon Ball, he's going to be in here a lot of Saturdays for the next couple of months. But
it's fine.
He'll like it. He'll like it for sure.
Fine.
So, cricket.
Yes, sir.
The weather is great.
Yes.
Yes, it's been great all week.
I've had to turn the AC on 3 times this week, DK. It's not. It's really not.
No? Oh, well, see, J-Dub said he was messing around with his AC.
Oh, just driving,
Whoa.
like, one day it was like 94, and I started to feel that, like, pre-sweat coming in the car, and I was like, do I need to turn my car and my AC on for the first time this year?
It's not the car AC. It's my home
House
AC.
AC.
The house AC I've already had to turn on. And
I
I'm
knew
just
that's
like,
what you were
no.
saying. No, not yet.
I got to wait till at least late April to do this.
Right.
It has been great patio weather to get out and sit out on a patio and have a nice adult beverage. What's happening around this town this weekend, Cricket? What's up? Because it is officially the weekend. Woo!
Ooh, you guys sound so enthusiastic. I know you're tired. I know you had a long night.
I got home at 1:30 last night. So.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys, I get it, man.
I was probably asleep by 3:30. I was surprised. So.
Snap. That's
There
when
you
I
go.
wake up.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm going on around town this weekend. Tomorrow, there's Art in the Gardens at the Catalina High Magnet School, Pima and Dodge, from 11 a.m. till
That's
4
your
p.m.
neighborhood. You going?
That's my hood. I might,
Okay.
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can also tour some of the finer homes in the area. They're opening up
Oh.
their gardens for everyone to
All right.
admire. Also, we've got Silent Adventures tomorrow. You sing and dance your way through downtown. Meet at the main library at 4:30. The theme tomorrow,
Is
Broadway musicals.
wow.
Hey,
Broadway musicals.
your wife loves that.
She
right?
loves the Broadway musicals.
See?
Yes.
Well, maybe you
we
guys
were
could
just
do
talking
that.
about that this morning.
See, so maybe you guys could do that.
You
Just
might
an
have to
idea.
do that, yeah.
The laser light shows tomorrow at the University of Arizona Flandreau Science Center and Planetarium. Daft Punk at 9:30 tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
Yes.
Oh, well, then I think that I might have to do that,
That
for sure.
instead of the Broadway musical,
Yeah, well, we
Silent
can do
Adventures.
both,
You could do
right?
both.
I could do both, yeah.
Absolutely.
Bridget and Aria are going to be so disappointed.
You could absolutely do both because Silent Adventure starts at 4:30, Daft
Right.
Punk at 9:30.
All
I think
right.
you're in.
I think so.
On Sunday, there is this huge market. They call it the Made in Tucson Market, 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. on Sunday. 250 plus local makers and 18 food trucks on Sunday, 7th Street west of 4th Avenue.
Awesome. All right, that's a nice start to the weekend. Now, is the 4th Avenue? Is that this weekend?
That was
too?
last weekend.
Oh, that was last weekend.
So here's how it worked.
See, I'm
4th Avenue Street Fair for our entire lives used to be a lot of local Tucson people. And then 20 years ago, Cricket, 25, like a lot of corporate interests came in and started setting booths up. And so what she's talking about is basically what the old 4th Avenue Street Fair used to be, which is just local people who make stuff in their garages. You want to go support and great food.
See, I told you I
Yeah.
was so into the basketball last week, and there was stuff going on. I had no idea. I was like, is the 4th Avenue, is that this weekend or next weekend? I had no idea what was going on last weekend.
It was like everything happened last weekend.
Yeah,
4th
really.
Avenue Street Fair, the air show.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, all of the big things.
My
seem
wife
to
was
happen.
talking about the air show, and I was like, well, I don't hear anything flying above us. but
All
we
the
live-
best people
We
watching.
live up in the foothills, so I was like,
Well, you're
maybe-
kind of far away.
Maybe they don't come up this way. I thought they used to kind of come up around the mountains there and then come back down on some of those runs, but maybe not. I don't know.
They might.
I missed all
depending
the
on
fun.
weather.
I missed all the fun
You
last
missed
week.
all
I
the
was
fun.
so laser focused on the NCAA.
If there's
tournament.
noise ordinances, it's in the gated communities in the foothills. Like that's how that works.
They're not allowed over there.
There you go. All right, Cricket will be back at the 5 o'clock hour with more about what's happening in Tucson, Southern Arizona this weekend. Right now, she's getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
And from the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center at your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported La Cholla just south of McGee, Palo Verde north of Valencia involving a motorcyclist. Also a crash on State Route 83 near Empire Ranch Road. 53, the overnight low, highs near 80 this weekend, and breezy, 86 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. At Jackson Hewitt, expert tax prep is now $149 or less, but only for a limited time. Hurry, book your appointment at jacksonhewitt.com today. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149.
Did you miss the big game?
They need a 3 to get to overtime.
You know we got you covered.
Midcourt, shot is up, good! Clovis hit a three. We're going to overtime.
Trying to keep it close, and you never give up. I guess that's life in the Big 12.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
It's the $10,000 quiz show. Okay, contestants, these are things that save you money. Ready? Here we go. It's Tucson's only place to save up to 40% on all your favorite tobacco products.
Tobacco Barn.
You pay no city or state sales tax because they're on
the Indian Reservation.
And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at
TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Excellent. Now for the big savings. At Tobacco Barn, you'll save up to
40% off.
And because they're on the reservation, you pay no
city or state sales tax.
And at TobaccoBarnTucson.com, you get
a coupon up to $3 off.
What you are if you waste your money shopping somewhere else.
Crazy?
Nuts.
Stupid?
A few tacos short of a combo plate?
Wow! Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most watched savings show. Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia. Check your local listings or TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
Hi, Alex Medina, owner of Oro Ford. I was just saying to my ad agency the other day, if I could just get people to go to my website, they'd see the transparency. They'd see I don't have dealer add-ons, that my advertised discounts are on all my vehicles, not just a select few. I said to him, if I could just get people to go to oroford.com, they'd see the rebates are crystal clear and you save thousands with 2% lower taxes. It's all right there. My website is oroford.com.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We want to hear your thoughts on Arizona Wildcats basketball. How you feeling about the season ending? If you did not join us after the game last night, you can get in via the phone. You can also get in via that text. You can also interact on any of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram any of those and share your thoughts on Arizona Wildcats basketball. But right now, we've got some breaking news on the baseball front.
Diamondbacks out.
Baseball talk. The Diamondbacks have signed young pitching phenom Brandon Pfaadt to a 5-year contract extension. Now, this extension will not begin until next season, but it'll be through the 2030 season with a club option for 2031 and a mutual option for 2032. Man, that seems like forever and away from now. But the deal is for $45 million, includes a the club option in 2031 is going to be $21 million, and the mutual option $25 million in 2032. Brandon Pfaadt scheduled to make his debut this season tomorrow. Game 3 of the series against the Cubs. He was 11-10 last year with a 4.71 ERA, 185 strikeouts, and 32 starts. I just added him to my fantasy team, so I'm excited about having Brandon Pfaadt pitch for me this season. Opening night, it was gorgeous, like we've been talking about. Gorgeous weather. I think they had the roofs and the panels open last night at Chase Field in downtown Phoenix. It unfortunately did not go as planned.
Ground ball to second. This could be the ball game. Horner's got it. Throws to first. Cubs win the ball game. Victory number 1 for the Cubs this season as they beat the Diamondbacks here in Phoenix by a score of 10-6.
10-6, the final on opening night. This was a pretty actually tight game. Zach Gallen got the opening day start for your Snakes. It was fairly tight. Diamondbacks had an early 1-0 lead. Cubs went up 3-1. It was 3-2, then 4-3, then in the ball game, but got away from the Diamondbacks in the 5th inning with the bases loaded, and Zach Gallen at that point already out of the game, and on in relief for Zach was Ryan Nelson.
Nelson, the right-hander, works on the extreme first base side of the rubber. The 1-2 delivery. Amaya hits one in the air to center field, racing over McCarthy. It's off his glove and drops to the ground. 1 run is in. Crow Armstrong scores. That's 2. And a 3rd run scores as Matt Shaw crosses home plate. Miguel Amaya ends up at second base, and the Cubs score 3 more runs. They're up 7-3 over the Diamondbacks here in the 5th.
Jake McCarthy should have caught that ball in center field. I don't know if you saw the replay of it, but he was kind of a lunge. He was right there, and it just popped in and out of his glove and scattered to the ground. And all 3 of those runs scored, and the Cubs get the victory on opening day, 10-6. Now, the Cubs, out for them, it wasn't opening day because, of course, they played the 2 games in Japan against the Dodgers, but they get their first win of the season because they got swept in that series by the Dodgers over in Tokyo. So the Cubs are actually 1-2 on the year, and the Diamondbacks fall to 0.
You know, I know that
1
because all I can anybody talk about is how the Dodgers are off to their first 3-0 start in 10 years.
There you go.
It only took them, 20 days to get to the 3rd win
Right.
because they had the 2. But again, DK, going back to the drop ball and stuff, does it shock you that Mr. Tomas is starting at center field today in game 2?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they officially put out the starting lineup, and Tomas is at center field. So
well, there you go.
not really that much of a surprise. But the bigger surprise about that game, DK, 11 straight balls for Zach Gallen during his 4 innings of work. That's not a good sign when your ace in the hole is off to a slow start. That's a bad bit of news there for the Diamondbacks.
Well, that's another. I told you that, I drafted my fantasy team this year. Basically, I just took guys that were either on the Diamondbacks or the Guardians. So I've got Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and Brandon Pfaadt. I picked Brandon Pfaadt because I had to put a guy on a DL already, one of my starters. So I went ahead and grabbed Brandon Pfaadt. So those are 3 guys in my rotation, and then I've got Ben Lively for the Guardians, and I've got Tanner Bybee for the Guardians. So those are 5 of my my starting pitchers. I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna because I follow the Diamondbacks, I follow the Guardians, and I just want to have guys that I'm gonna be looking at their stuff every single day. So that's what I did and I'm already losing 8-2, so that probably wasn't a good way to go about drafting my team. But let's hear from Torey Lavello on the loss in the opener to the Cubs.
I think the theme of the night was that we made too many mistakes and they turned into stressors. Too many stressors on this team at one time. It's a lot to overcome. And I can basically tell you what some of them are. They're very obvious to you guys, the plays that weren't made defensively. But inside of the game, the way that we look at it, there were a few others that we got to really tighten up. They're identifiable things. They're things that we talk about often, that we practice often, that we compare and contrast. When it's done right, it saves innings and saves pitches. When it's done wrong, it makes innings linger, and you can potentially give up big crooked numbers. Throw in the fact that I don't think Zach really got into a rhythm. It was an uncustomary outing for him. We ended up walking 6 or 7 batters a day, gave up 12 hits. It's 18 base runners. That's just there's a lot of things that we got to tighten up, and we will. At the end of the day, it's our job as coaches to identify these things, talk about these things, and it will not be the first time they've heard what we're gonna talk about and coach tomorrow when we wake up or when we get to the ballpark. But it was a great opening night. The fans were here. There was a ton of energy. You just wish you can go out there and play a little bit better game, play Diamondback baseball, and we will. We're going to get there.
All right, well, let's hope so. Game 2 tonight, as you heard Dragon Ball mention, Alec Thomas. He is in center field tonight. Jake McCarthy not, after he dropped that ball. And it is Merrill Kelly getting the start tonight for your Diamondbacks. It'll be a 6:40 first pitch. Merrill Kelly for the D-backs and James Talon for the Cubs tonight. A 4-game series, and then they go on the road for 6, 3 in New York against the Yankees, and 3 in Washington against the Nationals.
Isn't slow starts kind of the MO?
For the Diamondbacks?
Yeah. Last season they started 2-6.
Yeah. I don't know that they've ever really started fast that I can remember.
You have to go back to probably before the turn of the century, maybe going back to that 2001 season.
Yeah, and I'm obviously not making comparisons to this year and any other year.
Yeah.
It's like it seems like the topic of conversation is, can the Diamondbacks get it back into the conversation? Even when they went to the World Series, it was that second half push that really got them there, as they weren't leading the division the entire year. I have faith that Torey will get things turned around and get those mistakes cleaned up.
49,000 in the building for opening night in downtown Phoenix last night. 520 if you want to give us your thoughts on the D-backs, what you saw on opening night. Did you go to the game? If you went up to the game, love to hear from you about the atmosphere at Chase Field last night. Opening day, always a very festive time. What happened with I saw L.A. They had Ice Cube driving in the trophy in a G'd out drop top convertible. So that doesn't happen very often in a lot of places. Of course, I don't think did the Cardinals open at home? Also, that's always they always bring their players in with the Clydesdales. That's
NWA
really cool
started in Los Angeles, not in St. Louis. So
Yeah.
that's probably why that happened.
Here's an issue for me. I don't know. Maybe this is just the purist in me when it comes to all sports. I feel that if anything, it should be handed off by someone who was on the team or a president or a manager or something.
So Magic,
not an Ice Cube.
So you're talking about Magic Johnson riding in a drop top.
At least he's ownership of the team, but at the same time, having Ice Cube, a person who has no connection to baseball in the management or in the playing side of things, handling the commissioner's trophy, to me, that just seems like an odd choice, other than the fact that every single person had a cell phone out. Oh my gosh, it was frustrating looking at all those people with the cell phones. And I'm just like, just watch the game, guys. You don't need to record this for the sake of your internet things. If you want to record it for yourself, then fine. But look at what's happening in front of you through your own eyes and not through the lens of your camera phone.
That is the Dragon Ball. That is the world that we live in right now. Everything's got to be recorded for posterity.
The other world we live in is a certain slugger for the Dodgers is getting closer to getting back on the mound.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
How about that? He had an opposite field bomb last night that was pretty impressive. For sure.
I love that the bet was over under at least half a run for sure. Like, you're so sure that he's going to score a run. It's like the over under is a half. Like, come on. Either he's going to make it or he's not. But once he's on base, it's like guaranteed he's going to score.
Well, what was he like 95% on stolen bases last year?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
While we're talking about it, opening day yesterday, Yankee Stadium. How about the pros play here? Arizona grad Austin Wells, a catcher, leading off for the New York Yankees on opening day.
Here's Peralta from the third base side of the rubber, 2-0. Pitch swung on, high drive, right field. Line drive going back and reaching up. It is gone. A home run for Austin Wells, and what a start to the 2025 season for the New York Yankees. Hey now!
Dave Sims, the new voice of the Yankees, the former TV play-by-play man for the Seattle Mariners.
Does he
New
do
York
puns?
Native. I don't think Dave Sims
I hope not.
is
I
going to be
hope
doing
not.
puns. No, Dave Sims is not. He's not that kind of broadcaster.
Now,
But
DK, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Austin Wells is one of the very few leadoff catchers in baseball history. Do you know how many there have been? Since in the modern era.
Well,
So
you'd have to be
1901.
fast, right? Like, you'd have to be someone with some wheels, because otherwise there's no way
I'm
you're
trying to remember, like,
you're
who,
leading
and I
off.
don't even know if he has wheels. I don't know if that's what that's about. But I would in the modern era, I'll say 2.
You'd think of 5. There are
5.
5 in the
Okay.
history of
Modern
modern
being
era.
what, post 75?
1901. Since 1901, the modern era of baseball.
Did Santiago ever lead off? Benito Santiago, was he one of them? No.
The only 5 that we have, besides, again, Mr. Wells, we have Austin Nola in 2022.
Okay.
He's the most recent. Jason Kendall did it 3 times, twice for my Pirates, so he's my all-time favorite catcher. This is why I wanted to look this up last night. Butch Weiniger for the 1977 Twins, and Roger Brisanahan in the 1906 Giants. Those are the only 5 catchers to ever lead off for a team.
Logically, it's either somebody who can beat out, a ground ball, or somebody who hits for average, or somebody who can get on base, who like takes a lot of balls and can get a walk, or can, hit for good average. Because otherwise, what are you doing in the leadoff spot?
Yeah, no.
And Austin Wells, the first catcher since 1900 to hit a leadoff home run on opening day. How about that for the Arizona Wildcat grad, Austin Wells? His season off to a great start for the New York Yankees. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. We're going to talk some Arizona basketball coming up a little bit later. Matt Moreno from Rivals will join us. We'll get Matt's thoughts on the recently completed season. He is also all about the recruiting, and the Wildcats got a pretty big commitment yesterday with the announcement that Koa Pete out of Gilbert Perry is going to be coming down to play at the University of Arizona, the latest Phoenix product to pick the U of A. We'll get Matt Moreno
lock the state down
on that, right? Because they were activating the Valley at that Diamondbacks game last night. I'll play for you a little bit later the comments of one Kenny Dillingham as his team throughout the first pitch, or his players throughout the first pitch of the Diamondbacks game last night. So that's a pretty good exposure for the Arizona State football program with that. DK on the Sports Tip. Much more coming up for you straight ahead. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported Ina and La Cañada and Ina. Also, wreck that occurred Palo Verde near Valencia. Motorcyclist involved on Palo Verde to the north of Valencia. Also, some usual slowing at Ajo and Mission, and also on southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way. 57 the low, highs near 80 this weekend, and breezy as well. 86 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery. When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
It's time for basketball, and Uber Eats is dropping deals on game day favorites to keep you locked in on the action. Like when you're craving a buzzer beater, but also buffalo wings. Or when an upset makes you want to ugly cry into a pizza. And right now, Uber Eats has game day deals from McDonald's, Popeyes, Pizza Hut, Wendy's, and hundreds more local favorites. So you can keep your eyes on the ball and your hands on a hamburger. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other, sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last,
no.
Do we have to sing?
Yes. All summer long with an Alaska
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
This is Bill Ryder with a Sports Minute sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Let's consider this a friendly warning for LeBron James. He is a guy who showed us in 2010 when he went to Miami that the angst he likes to lean into often overwhelms his abilities on the floor. And last night's loss to the Bulls, though one game, certainly showcases that his attacks on the media and his anger and petulance toward critics is transferring to his team's performances. I'm Bill Ryder.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. Keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Coach Shire, congratulations. Can you give us an opening statement?
Yeah, I mean, look, a ton of respect for Tommy Lloyd, his team, Arizona, their program. I thought they were incredible tonight. I thought our guys made some big-time winning plays. A lot of game pressure. They just wouldn't go away, even the 19-point lead. No lead really felt safe with them. And I thought our guys hit some clutch free throws, made just enough plays. Obviously, it was hard to get stops for anybody in this game, but sometimes that's how it goes. But I couldn't be more proud. Hats off to Arizona with the job they did.
And you talk about the evolution of the offense. What was the score in that game in November? Like 64-59 or something, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
And now they combined to almost score 200 points between those two teams. And
when you start three freshmen,
threes.
when Duke starts three freshmen, and then Arizona's bringing four rotations players in, including Vesar, who didn't really play much last year. That whole time, the time they played, those two teams were still in forming stages, I think.
60% they shot in that game, did the Duke Blue Devils. Dragon Ball, your thoughts on the loss to the Blue Devils and the end to the season?
I think that the interesting thing about the second half was you noticed how the U of A Wildcats were trying so desperately to use the trap on the inbound to go ahead and force Duke into some mistakes. But as soon as they got out and you were leaving Vesar wide open alone to try and guard the entire paint, and you're watching, because your assumption is that Duke's got a lot of three-point shooters. Knipple was shooting a couple threes in that game. Cooper Flagg has got some range to him. And then Proctor also, again, still on his hot streak. And then Sion James, I believe, was the other one that was getting a couple of big ones. But then all of a sudden you bring in a guy that can go ahead and cut underneath the basket. And once you had someone going up to Vesar, he was being left on an island in that game in the second half. It was either you collapse on the guy charging at the paint, or you stay in there and try to go ahead and stop the backdoor alley-oop that was happening quite a bit in that little stretch. But in the end, the defense kind of found a bit more. Once they got away from the trap, I saw that their offense was also opening up because they were just trying to go ahead and open things up to let their offense set after rebounds. There was a lot of fast break opportunities in the second half that opened up, but so much of it was done by guys holding onto the ball for more than two dribbles. I mean, we saw the statistics. Me and JW were looking at it after the game. 10 assists in the entire game, and I think 7 of them came in the second half. First half, it was a lot of guys being isolated, playing iso ball in there. And in some situations, like if it's a post-up guy, like Toby Awaka had a couple of good post-down moves down in the paint early, but those were almost the entirety of the paint points that were coming in that game. Everybody was having to play off of a screen or try to dribble step back three for Caleb Love, which was kind of his go-to shot throughout the game was the step back. But you can't win when you're not passing the ball and moving it around, especially on a team that has the length of a Duke. You had, 3 or 4 different guys on Duke with 4 fouls, but not one of them fouled out in the final 5 minutes of the game. Meanwhile, KJ Lewis does. To me, that just shows lack of movement. You're not forcing them to try and collapse or to overcompensate on the defensive side of the ball. If you can get one of those guys, like a Malawak or somebody else, to foul out, you open up so much space on what you could do against that Duke defense. But Arizona, again, their offense was a little bit stagnant in the first half, and it ended up paying off Duke in the second half.
Yeah, real quick. I think the biggest issue was the Blue Devils were switching between an aggressive trapping man-to-man and a matchup zone. And the matchup zone, Arizona was running their pick and rolls at the top of the key. But the movement off ball, when you're moving off ball against the matchup zone, you're not putting the defense in awkward positionings because the defenders are just guarding an area until an offensive player comes into their area, and then that's their responsibility. That's kind of how that matchup style works. But, yeah, I couldn't agree more. 3 assists in that first half. Turn it around there in the second half, but definitely probably will go back and look at that tape, those guys, and think a couple more back cuts, a couple more, aggressive off-ball movement against that defense, and they would have gotten some easier looks potentially.
There were more than a few baseline drives that were open in that second half that I think that if they took advantage of it in the first, you'd get a lot more of those. If not buckets, at least get some more fouls. If you could, because Cooper Flagg only had 2 or 3 fouls in the entire game up to that point. And then you still had, Malawak, Knipple, I think it had 4 at one point. You could get a couple of those guys to foul out because Duke was going to need to stick with their guys in the latter parts of that game because Arizona was making that close run. I mean, Shire said it going into that. No lead was safe because Arizona was fighting to get back in that contest.
520-848-1290. Want to hear your thoughts on Arizona basketball. Caleb Love, 40 minutes, played all 40 minutes last night. 11 of 21, scored 35 points, knocked down 5 3-pointers. In case you missed it afterward, a lot of love, no pun intended, for Caleb. Let's first hear from him on the end of his run at Arizona.
I just want to thank each and every one of my teammates and my coaches for sticking with me, as a person, first and foremost, because, I went through a lot transferring from, my other school. And, they took me under their wing and, they accepted me for who I was. And, I just want to give all my thanks to them because, without them, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be the player that I've grown to be. And, the points are, good, but, the relationships that I've built over the course of my career, especially at Arizona, I give all my thanks to them.
Yeah, and if you think that Caleb Love was not much loved inside of his own locker room, I asked Jaden Bradley that question, and then Henry Vasar decided he had a few things to say. Jaden, just speak to what Caleb meant to this team and to all of you guys with the way that he played in this tournament, scoring 15 straight points.
Like C-Love said, he's a great player, but, I feel like we all build a relationship off the court. You don't see, the workouts and, the stuff that we do off the court. Y'all don't see that. And he really took all of us under his wing. He's a leader. He's been through so much, and, he's taught us all so much. So we're definitely going to learn a lot, miss playing with him. Just a great guy.
I want to answer the same question about Caleb because I just want to say something. If anybody ever thinks he's not a good teammate, it's not true. He's the best teammate we have. He's one of the better person I've ever met. He's pushed me so much over the last 2 years. I'm so grateful for him. Tournament, I was struggling. He talked to me. He came up to me after I missed the first free throw because he's made me practice free throws after that game. And after that, he just came up to me. He's like, "Hey, we worked way too hard. You got this." And after that, I didn't miss a free throw. I made 7 in a row. And I just want to set the record straight for any scouts, anybody who thinks he's not a good teammate. He's the best person. Everybody loves him on the team. There's no problems with him. The best person we have.
Pretty strong comments there by both Jaden Bradley and Caleb Love. Jaden Bradley and Henry Vasar about Caleb Love after the ball game last night. We'll hear from Tommy Lloyd coming up a little bit later from him, get his thoughts on his fifth-year senior point guard and what he's meant to the program the last 2 years. It is DK, the Sports Tip. We're going to be chatting with Justin Wessel, Arizona basketball class of 2001. He was a walk-on, not a walk-on, but he was a red shirt in 1996-97 when the Wildcats won the national championship. He was a senior in 2001 when they went back to the title game, losing by 10 to the aforementioned Duke Blue Devils. We'll get Justin's thoughts on all things Arizona basketball straight ahead. Right now, we're going to get Dragon Ball's thoughts on everything happening in sports here in Southern Arizona and around the world.
Well, Arizona men's basketball season saw their year come to an end up in Newark after falling to the Duke Blue Devils in the Sweet 16, despite the back-and-forth first half and a late rally in the second. Now, in the postgame, the players, as you all heard there, praised each other and Caleb Love for their successes throughout the year, which Coach Tommy Lloyd credited with the team's us-first mentality that they had during the season.
It's special. You know, we have some core tenets in our program, and one of it is, you know, we're going to be a program rooted in love, not fear. And you guys can see the love for each other, and you know, we're going to play for joy. And then, you know, one of our other core tenets is we're going to enjoy other success as much as our own, and you know, or more.
Again, now with that loss, the Arizona Wildcats are done for the year, and Tommy Lloyd goes to 6-3 in the national tournament record. And the Suns will go back to the hardwood tonight against the Timberwolves. The Suns currently sitting now just a half game out of the play-in tournament after their four-game winning streak was come to an end last time out against the Celtics. The Suns likely will be without Bradley Beal again as he looks to continue to miss games with a hamstring issue that they hope to have rectified by the end of the season. Elsewhere in the association, the Grizzlies have made a surprise move as the fifth-seeded Memphis squad has announced that they are parting ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins following 6 seasons on the bench. Again, the Grizzlies are currently struggling with 5 losses in their last 7 games and now sit out of the home court spots in the top 4 out west.
There's 9 games left in the season, guys. 9 games left in the season.
And
they're 44-23.
Yeah, reports are that Jenkins may have, quote, lost the locker room, and now the team tries to go ahead and finish out the last 9 games of their schedule strong. And I'm Dragon Ball with your 2020 Sports
Perhaps
Update.
He lost Ja Morant.
And may have lost Ja, may have lost Jaren Jackson Jr. I mean, there's a lot of people to lose in that locker room. But this is Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With some slowdowns westbound Grant at I-10, westbound Speedway Boulevard at I-10 getting busy. Collisions Ina and La Cañada, and also Palo Verde north of Valencia. More slowdowns Ajo and Mission westbound and southbound, slowing in southbound La Cholla at Ajo, also for slowing. And for your weather, we're looking at 52 the overnight low, highs near 80 this weekend, breezy as well. 86 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
One day while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year, we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other. Sun is shining. Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right? Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens. Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long. If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong. Still no angels. But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last, no.
Do we have to sing?
Yes. All summer long with an Alaska No. Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
It's the $10,000 quiz show. Okay, contestants, these are things that save you money. Ready? Here we go. It's Tucson's only place to save up to 40% on all your favorite tobacco products.
Tobacco Barn.
You pay no city or state sales tax because they're on
the Indian Reservation.
And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at
TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Excellent. Now for the big savings. At Tobacco Barn, you'll save up to
40% off.
And because they're on the reservation, you pay no
city or state sales tax.
And at TobaccoBarnTucson.com, you get
a coupon up to $3 off.
What you are if you waste your money shopping somewhere else.
Crazy?
Nuts.
Stupid?
A few tacos short of a combo plate?
Whoa! Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most watched savings show. Nogales Highway just south of Valencia. Check your local listings or TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We talk Diamondbacks baseball daily.
Overall, inside of our culture, it's built on love, trust, commitment, and effort. And I think love is the glue to all of it.
Love, trust, commitment, and effort. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, the game did not end up last night the way that we wanted it to. Arizona's season ending with a loss to the Duke Blue Devils. We're going to talk to someone now who knows a little bit about what that feels like, only on a different level, because his Arizona basketball season ended with a loss to Duke. His actual Arizona basketball career, just like Caleb Love, ended with a loss to Duke, only it was in the national championship game in 2001. Pleased to be joined by Arizona basketball grad Justin Wessel, class of 2001, currently lives in San Diego. Justin, pleasure to get a chance to talk to you.
Pleasure to talk to you as well. I don't like you bringing up those bad memories, but the facts are the facts, so let's go.
All right, so let's get you, first of all, let's get your thoughts on the current state of Arizona basketball, the game last night. Where did you watch it? Were you like throwing stuff at the TV? How do you watch these games now as an Arizona basketball alum?
Well, I've got 3 kids, so I'm always running around like crazy, but they were all tuned in, just at the house, keeping it simple. And I've trained them well. They've hated Duke since they were born, and so they understand the importance of the game last night, and we're very frustrated like a lot of us were.
Yeah, and one of the things, obviously, that stands up, and I'll ask you this because you're a big man. Unfortunately, Duke in that early second half got a lot of plays at the rim on the backside of the Arizona Wildcats defense. As somebody that's played, the inside position, what were you thinking when you were seeing Malawak get all those dunks at the rim?
I was wishing we had what's his name was not injured. I wish we had a little more depth, just because that's the thing about Duke. You know, you take Cooper Flagg out of it. Obviously, he's one of the best players we've seen in college basketball in many years, and whatever school he would have went to, he would have tipped the scales that way. But their depth is just so impressive. And, you combine that with some of the early foul trouble and having to reach down the bench a little bit farther than I'm sure Coach Lloyd wanted to. It was very frustrating to watch, to your point, how easy they got things there in the second half, because I thought in the first half, obviously we made a lot of shots, which always helps, but I thought we were physical and aggressive, and I think some of the fouls took that away and had to play some lineups and that we're not used to. And when that happens, you guys are in positions they're not normally accustomed to, and that can lead to easy baskets, especially when Duke's just bringing in guy after guy that has been in the rotation all year long.
Justin Wessel is joining us, Arizona basketball class of 2001. He was a forward, played 4 seasons, was actually a redshirt in 1996-97 on the national championship team. So, Justin, you got to go to the Final Four 2 times. So what was, first of all, let's go back to your freshman year. You came to Arizona as I'm not mistaken, a Mr. Basketball out of Iowa. Why did you choose Arizona?
Well, first thing, Lute Olson had come from the University of Iowa, and growing up, he was a legend in the University of Iowa circles. I grew up about 20, 30 minutes from the University of Iowa campus. So I was well-versed on Coach Olson. He had recruited other Iowa players in the past. Some of the old school fans might remember Brian David, who was also from Iowa. And, I was probably more of a kind of Big Ten guy, but I wanted to have a chance to play for national titles and wanted to get to the NBA one day. And you can't argue with Lute Olson's track record. And, that class we came in with, Mike Bibby, Steven Jackson randomly was also in that class, but he ended up not qualifying. And then Bennett Davidson, who started the last couple of years there out of JC on the national title team. Then, of course, who can forget the fan favorites, Josh Pastner and John Ash. So we were a pretty loaded class. And that was, of course, Gene Ederson also. He actually played in both those games because he did a red shirt in the middle of his time there. But just you see that talent and the talent that Coach Olson brought in year over year. It gave us a chance to compete for a national championship every year. And plus, I wanted to get out of Iowa, to be honest with you. It's a great place to be from, but I wanted to get out of Iowa. Met my wife there who played volleyball, and she's from San Diego, so that's how I'm here now. So in my opinion, it all worked out well for me.
Yes, Stephanie Saragosa, who was on the late 1990s, early 2000s Dave Rubio volleyball teams here at the University of Arizona. You mentioned that you all have 3 kids out there. What sports are they into?
I've got girl, boy, girl, like 15, almost 13, 11. Volleyball and soccer. Volleyball is big in our house. My son's playing hoops, so I'm on the volleyball circuit with my older one, which is such a small world because 2 weeks ago I was sitting with Mike Bibby watching his daughter at the same tournament, and Miles Simon would have been there with his daughter, but she's got a little injury. So I crossed paths with those guys. And I tell you what, there's nothing like seeing Mike Bibby argue with a volleyball official, this NBA great, Arizona legend, and he's arguing about volleyball calls, and I don't know what the hell's going on. But it's hilarious, though. You just go with, as our kids get older, we cross paths with everybody. I mean, that same team that Mike's daughter plays for, the Arizona Storm out of Phoenix, Marissa DeLee, who was a stud on my wife's volleyball team that went to the Final Four. Her daughter's on that team, so it's just the whole Arizona culture that we went to school with, not just basketball, but all the sports. It's just so fun to be part of here 20, 25 years later.
Justin Wessel joining us. So, Justin, did he leak to you at all that he was looking at Sacramento State?
No, and I'm pissed about it because we talked a lot about him trying to get in the NBA and all kinds of stuff. And his son, Michael Dane, was there, who was born actually when we were in college. And I was literally with him, and we talked coaching forever. And then 3 days later, I see that. So, trust me, there was a little messy text was sent to him just to give my stance on the displeasure for not letting me in the loop there.
Well, I'll share with you, since you're an Iowa guy, I'll share with you that I'm a USC graduate, and I was a basketball manager there under George Raveling, who was obviously at Iowa prior to him making his exit out of Iowa City to head to Southern California. as well. So you came and you were a member of that. I mentioned a walk-on in 1997. Just what was that experience like for you to be a part of that group with we talked about, you mentioned Mike Bibby, and obviously Josh Pastner got a new job this week at UNLV. What was it just to be a part of that group?
It's so funny. I mean, I was kind of planning to redshirt coming in, and I ended up breaking my foot right before the Christmas break. And that year, a lot of people will remember we finished terrible in the conference, and we were sitting there with all these. At the time we didn't know, but you kind of had an idea that there's a lot of NBA players on that team, and just that run in general. It almost felt like I was in high school again, like at an AU tournament where you just expect to win. And you didn't quite realize the stage, how grand it was, and just how it was like we never flinched. There's a couple of those games early where, a couple shots go a different way, maybe we're in trouble, but it just seemed so easy. And it's funny to say that, just to get to the Final Four. And the next year we went to the Elite Eight, and the same thing. It's like, oh, we're just going to go to the Final Four every year. And then obviously we had a couple early exits the next 2 years, and then when we went back my senior year with obviously pretty much a different nucleus, the pressure was definitely a lot higher at that point because we're older and we kind of knew what was at stake compared to those first couple years with all that talent and didn't really know what we were doing. We were just playing basketball.
Yeah, we talk about the pressure now that's on the players in this program, and obviously with social media and NIL and all of that, and you guys didn't maybe have those types of things weighing over you. But what was that pressure like to be in this program and to have this entire town, the expectations that we have here for this program in Southern Arizona?
Well, obviously, I was talking to one of our former teammates who's thinking about coaching in college just this morning, actually, and we were talking about how it's just a different world. And this whole, the NIL obviously, but this transfer portal world. And I think what's so different that we felt a lot of is obviously the fans in the city of Tucson. You go there and everybody says you guys are the main show in town. But we also felt like pressure to represent, Steve Kerr, Sean Elliott, Judd Bushler. I came in, a little bit after Damon Stoudemire, who, as a kid I saw playing, in the NBA, and it's just they're just great people, and you almost want to carry that legacy on. And we played like Gene Ederson and John Ashton, Josh Pastner and I, the four of us. We were together for 5 years. Gene and I weren't best friends, but like I would have laid in traffic for that guy, and I knew everything. His parent, his mom was great. We just had this connection, and I think that's hard to replicate now in this era of NIL and the transfer portal. But going back to it, we just felt a legacy and pressure to maintain what the guys before us had done, and then also do it for ourselves because we were together for so long, which, I don't know how these guys do it. Jack Murphy is one of my best friends. Sometimes I talk to him and I'm like, Coach, I don't know how the heck you do this, man. I don't know how you do it anymore. It used to be get a kid in, coach them up, train them, build the camaraderie. We didn't. Ironically, under Coach Olson, we didn't have a lot of guys transfer, and the ones that did usually went to smaller programs. Not a lot of them went to other places that were, our level or higher and succeed like that. So we just had a lot of guys and that stuck with it. I laugh now when I talk to people because, like, nowadays, if I came up and I spent 2 years in the Arizona program, heck, I probably would have transferred to, like, UC Santa Barbara or something and played and had the time of my life. Or, Gene could have went to – Ederson could have went to, 90% of the schools in the country and started and play the whole game. And I just don't think the system's not set up for kids to do it that way anymore. But also I think, just generations are different where you're not going to see people stick around like that to win, which, that's the ultimate goal, right?
We're chatting with Justin Wessel, Arizona basketball class of 2001. We're going to get a break in here, come back, and hear more about his time here at the University of Arizona playing for the legendary Lute Olson. Right now, though, cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather Together. With some slowdowns northbound 6th Avenue at I-10, westbound Ajo at Mission, southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way. Collision reported Valencia east of Houghton. 57 the overnight low, highs near 80 through the weekend, breezy as well, and it is 86 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends April 5th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
One day while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
Hey, man. Yeah, it's me, your furnace, man. Hey, can I get a light here, man? I know we live in Arizona, so I understand I'm not, like as cool as your air conditioner. But I still need a tune-up at least once a year, man. So get the best in town, man. Goodfellas AC, bro. Hey, anybody smell that, man? I swear it wasn't me. Okay, it was me.
Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-478-6688. That's 1-800-478-6688. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-478-6688. That's 1-800-478-6688.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Broadway in Tucson presents the 20th anniversary season featuring 7 Tucson premieres, including Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Hell's Kitchen, Moulin Rouge, The Wiz, Back to the Future, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and more. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the lowest prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2025-2026 season tickets today.
Download our app. It slaps. Nobody covers Southern Arizona sports like we do. Don't miss out on any of the highlights, stories, and analysis. The flagship home for Arizona Wildcats athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Taylor Bisciotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Colts general manager Chris Ballard told the series Behind the Colts that he believes a spirited competition between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson for the starting quarterback job is a good thing for the team, and the final decision will be strictly based on performance. Cam Ward impressed at his pro day earlier this week and is set to work out privately for the Titans and Browns, who hold the first and second pick respectively in the 2025 NFL Draft. One top prospect not expected to work out at his pro day is Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter. Carter is still recovering from a shoulder injury he suffered against Boise State in the college football playoffs earlier this year. Former Patriots Julian Edelman weighed in on New England signing Stephon Diggs, saying, quote, "They could use a little fire under their butts in that receiver room." This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
DK on the Sports Tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Justin Wessel is joining us, Arizona basketball class of 2001. Justin, one of your best friends was Luke Walton. What's it like being friends with him? And you know, you were really tight with Dad, Bill, who obviously we lost this past year. What was that relationship like?
Yeah, it was a tough one. My wife and Stephanie and Luke's wife actually played together at Arizona as well. They've been really tight, and so we've got one of his brothers lives 2 minutes from us, and my daughter and his daughter are good friends, and I used to work with another brother, and his mom lives 1 minute from us. And so we were down there quite a bit, and he treated like my own kids so well, and they had no idea who he was. Like when he passed away and people started saying stuff to them and asking them questions and seeing it all over the media, they were kind of like, wow, we didn't know that Grandpa Bill was so popular, because he was just such a unique guy. And the same way he talked on a broadcast, that's what he would do sitting by his pool or at a table. And, you know, it wasn't even about sports. He's talking to the kids about, you know, the Sierra Mountains and some bike ride he went on, and, you know, some special plant that he just got shipped in from somewhere else. So it was really sad, because he is, especially in San Diego. I mean, if you think about, you know, for those that know San Diego, you know, he's probably the golden son of athletics here. There's been some other big time names from here, but he was so involved in the community, and, you know, you'd hear about him at every single charity event, no matter if it was big or small. So he was such an icon in the city of San Diego and this whole area. So all those things combined, it's tough to see him go.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a treasure to this program and to this basketball community out here on the West Coast. Justin Wessel joining us, Arizona basketball class of 2001. He was a part of two teams that went to the Final Four in '97, and obviously the last team in 2001. Justin, does it shock you that this program has not been back to the Final Four since you guys went to the national championship game?
It has, and it really upset my oldest daughter last night when watching the broadcast. They brought up the 2001 game, and she was like, "Wait, we've never been to the Final Four since then." And obviously, it's a different era. And you know, when you have a legend like Lute Olson that brought the program to the status, you know, to the peak, and you know, it's never an easy transition, and it takes time. And, I have all the faith in Tommy and the staff. I think they've got things in the right direction. But it is funny, we used to sit down and Coach Olson would say at the first meeting, we're here to win a national championship. And that was what we wanted every year. And anything less was a disappointment. And like I said earlier, I get it. Times have changed. It's a different structure of college basketball now. But part of me is like, man, we're only like, we had a pretty good year, but we lost in the Sweet 16. Like, that would have been a terrible year for us, and that was the mindset. And I don't know, I don't have the answer of how you get back to that, but I know Coach Lloyd is headed in that right direction. You see some of the kids that are coming in, and hopefully they can retain some of these kids. So I'm confident where it's going. But, yeah, it is a different thought process for sure when, we had a pretty good year, or it's a good year when we got to the Sweet 16, because that's not what it was like when we were in town.
What do you remember about that night in the national championship game?
Man, probably better for you and I to have a conversation over a beer at Frog and Firkin. But
wait. Let me stop you there. Tommy prefers to have his beers at Bob Dobbs.
Another great choice. Can't go wrong there. I'm a loyal Frog and Firkin guy, though,
okay,
so I gotta shout out my spot.
There you go.
Those are my guys. So, yeah, it was such a blur, honestly. I mean, I was 18 years old. We had a lot of young guys on that team, and really, outside, we won, obviously, and then you want that. But again, remember, like I said earlier, it just seemed like a normal AU tournament, like we're going to go all the time. But just the way when we got back, really, just the way the town, all the fans and the city of Tucson, the excitement and the joy to see that was like, that's kind of one of the times that it really sunk in, like, wow. Arizona basketball is a big deal around here because we kind of lived in a bubble, right? We had campus and we're on buses and planes and things like that. And, we're not out in the community every day. And when we got back, though, just to see the joy in some of these fans that we had seen, sitting at every single game and cheering loud, it was mind-boggling, actually, how excited people were. And that's kind of where we realized, wow, this program right here, man, this city loves us.
Have you had a chance to bring your kids back to a game?
They've been to a bunch of road games. We have not been to, we went to the tournament games out here a couple years ago. Unfortunately, I know I get a lot of heat for that, but we get back there every once in a while. But, man, this club volleyball circuit's no joke, so we're flying all over the place right now.
All right, so what's that look like? What's that look like for your two young ladies? Is it Division I in their futures?
I don't know, man. My wife and I both played. We weren't professional athletes much, but at the same time, I think hopefully we're giving them an advantage because we made it, and we don't need to vicariously live through them. We can just kind of sit back and watch, but it's one thing, my wife watching the girls play volleyball, the way she acts versus me, because I don't know anything about it, versus me watching my son play basketball. So, I don't know. They're big kids. They're healthy. They do good in school, and anything above that will be gravy for us.
But when was the first time you told your son that you played in the national championship game?
Well, we went a little bit different route. Like, we don't have team pictures, our Final Four team pictures or action shots or anything like that up around the house. We kind of intentionally wanted them to go on their own path. And of course, naturally or organically, it kind of led to, the girls with volleyball. Even my son plays volleyball as well, which is a big deal out here. But, I think honestly, I think it's probably when we would go someplace and with one of my teammates that was, very recognizable and the attention they got, and they kind of realized like, oh, these guys, they get a little bit more attention than dad walking around the grocery store in our neighborhood. So I don't know the exact age, but, the last 4 or 5 years, there's definitely a lot more questions. But they're also those kids, they have no idea the stuff they get to do with, especially, with some of the NBA guys. I got videos of my son and daughter, shooting on the Staples Center floor before a Lakers-Celtics game. Wow. And they go run around the the Kings facility and things like that. They have no idea. So, which is probably a mistake on our part that we haven't instilled that. They're lucky to get to do those things, but we're trying. We're trying.
Justin Wessel joining us, class of 2001 Arizona basketball. So I have to ask you this, Justin, even though we're not having a beer at Frog and Firkin, got any interesting Gilbert Arenas stories you want to share?
Oh, Gilbert, man. Yeah, Gilbert, the thing about Gilbert, and I know the people that follow like his podcast and everything, he says a lot of crazy stuff. He had done a lot of crazy things. But the thing about Gilbert, he's smart, man. He's a really smart guy. He knows what he's doing. But he's also a wild card. He's also a wild card. And the best thing I could probably say that's not Frog and Firkin worthy is I was roommates with John Ash, who's now a Tucson real estate tycoon with CBRE. We were roommates, and I think back in the day in 2001, I was one of the only guys on the team that got a cell phone. I think I took all my scholarship checks and got a cell phone back in the day. And so they'd all come to our room to use my phone. That was back when it was like, 35 cents or 60 cents a minute or something like that. So Gilbert, of course, was the first one always there, and he did this thing where he would always tear apart John Ash's bed, like the sheet, comforter, pillow, just throw them all over the room. Because John was very particular about, everything, it's a hotel room, it's got to be perfect. I got to fold my bed sheet over. And so finally, one time about halfway through our senior year, for some reason, he came to the room to use the phone, and I was gone somewhere, maybe at a similar type of establishment. And I came back later that night, and I got into my bed, and I was like, why is this so cold? And I rolled back the sheet, and Gilbert had taken my comforter off and got the ice bucket and filled it with water and ice and poured it all over my mattress and let it soak in, and then put my comforter back on top. So I think John and I had to snuggle that night because I obviously wasn't going to sleep on a wet mattress.
Wow. That is something for sure. The great stories that come from your college teammates, that is unbelievable. And how about the fact that your other teammate Richard Jefferson is going to be the #1 analyst on NBA basketball games on national TV?
I'm so proud of that guy. I mean, you talk about him, Gilbert, really both teams. We are just a bunch of knuckleheads, and no one got into real serious trouble. But the one thing that was great, and you throw Richard and Gilbert and even, Mike Bibby and Miles Simon back in the day when, we may have been screwing around, maybe right even up to the jump ball. But as soon as that game started, man, it was intense and super competitive. And Richard, people say, man, he's so good on TV. And I'm like, yeah, he's a prick like he is in real life, but he's really good at it, being funny and sarcastic, and super excited for him, very proud of him. And even I think the really cool part for like our circle is that, he gets that gig the same, around the same time that Bill Walton passed away. And that was like another father figure to him because Luke and him were so close. So it's kind of full circle. Growing up watching, Bill do the NBA on NBC games, and now Richard calling the finals for ESPN is it's really cool, and really proud of him.
Yeah. So you missed by 1 year. You came in the year after our guy. We do all the pre and the post game and for Arizona basketball, and we work with Kelvin Ifan, who you missed by 1 year on the basketball team, but obviously he'd moved over to football, I think, by the time that you got here. Do you remember anything about Kelvin?
K-Rock, man. Love that guy. I knew him very well. I think K-Rock, man, I'm not there every day in Tucson, but if you think about it, I mean, the guy was like, everyone's going nuts about Travis Hunter at Colorado playing 2 ways. I mean, this guy went to one of the top basketball programs in the country on scholarship. Then halfway through, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to go play football and start on, one of the best Arizona football teams of all time. So I love that guy. There's some great stories about K-Rock from back in the day too. But, as you look back on it, that's so impressive because I don't know if anybody else on our basketball team could have went over and played football like he did.
Wow. Wow, I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome that even K-Rock was having that influence on guys on the basketball team even after he had left it. One more for you, Justin, and we'll let you go. Did you think Jason Terry would play as long as he did in the National Basketball Association?
You know, I'm not surprised. I was not surprised. JT's that guy, and I learned this early on. I think I remember in a preseason practice where, they just run the hell out of us. And I remember, I couldn't even walk leaving McHale Center after an ice bath, and God knows what else, painkillers I had to take. And he's the guy that would walk out of that practice and then would take off sprinting for no reason. And I just remember thinking, this dude is different. He physically is different. And another one too, he's so competitive, and I didn't know him growing up. He's from Seattle, obviously, but just all these guys. That's and I don't know what the situation is now with just college basketball in general, but you see in the tournament. But these guys were just not just great athletes; they were just so competitive. And JT was so competitive, and he just always, since I've known him, had an extra gear that I'm not sure many other players in the program or really in college basketball had. So, no, I was not surprised.
Justin, we appreciate you taking an opportunity to talk to us today and relive great Wildcat basketball memories from the end of the last century and the beginning of this century. You crossing over and being a part of 2 Final Four teams, continued success with you and Stephanie and the kids, and hopefully maybe we have an opportunity to get one of those volleyball players here at the University of Arizona, and I can interview them one day.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much for thinking of me, and have a good weekend, and talk to you soon.
Justin Wessel, Arizona basketball class of 2001, cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. With a collision that occurred I-19 near Irvington, mostly off on the left, in the left shoulder, towards the median. I-19 near Irvington, backups on southbound I-19 approaching Irvington. More slowing on northbound I-19, slowing between Valencia to just north of Irvington. Backups westbound Ajo at Mission, and a collision at Gulf Links and Harrison. 57 the overnight low, highs near 80 and breezy this weekend, and 85 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery. When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall is your premier automotive destination in town. Explore the new 2025 Honda models and extensive collection of pre-owned vehicles. Experience no-hassle financing and our no-haggle one-price selection. Visit AutoNation Honda Tucson at the Auto Mall today.
NBA veteran Jim Jackson takes you on the court.
You get a chance to dig into my 14-year career in the NBA and also get the input from the people that will be joining. Charles Barkley.
I'm excited to be on your podcast, man. It's an honor.
Spike Lee, entrepreneur, filmmaker, Academy Award winner.
Knicks fans.
So, now you see, I got you. But also how sports brings life, passion, music, all of this together.
The Jim Jackson Show, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Most plumbing problems start with a 4-letter word: drip, leak, clog. Whatever your plumbing problem might be, you can trust Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to deliver fast, honest, and reliable service by a plumbing expert that will find the right solution for your plumbing problems. Call us at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
One day, while motoring around free and easy and listening to his favorite radio station, Bob heard all about it. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, advertising affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier's one low price included valve stems and the other critical tire thingies that cost additional elsewhere, but not at Jack Furrier's. This was music to Bob's ears, as he knows to never underestimate the importance of thingies. Such a shame that not every tire dealer advertises total tire prices, he thought. But with this knowledge, I can do better. As synchronicity and predictable cliches would have it, yes, you guessed it. At that moment, Bob spotted one of Jack Furrier's 14 convenient locations. With no hesitation and great acceleration, Bob claimed his new set of quite affordable steel-belted radials, installed for one low price at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Thingies included.
Do better like Bob at Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, the locals' choice for affordable tires and quality auto repair. Jack Furrier's, since 1960, here to get you there.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other, sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last...
No.
Do we have to sing?
Yes. All summer long with an Alaska
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute. John Calipari getting Arkansas to the Sweet 16 in his first season on the job is very impressive. But how his season ended last night leaves a terrible taste in your mouth. He saw a 16-point second-half lead fade away, didn't foul up 3 in the final seconds of regulation, and then down 2 didn't call a timeout in overtime to set up a final play. Arkansas should be playing in the Elite Eight on Saturday, but they're not, and they'll be thinking about this one for a while. Now it's up to Coach Cal to redeem himself in the future. I'm Zach Gelb.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
And Nicky G with a fly ball to left field, sending Stowers
Denny.
back to the wall. A line drive, two-run homer for Nicky G. Nick Gonzalez hobbling around the bases. Either twisted something or pulled something, but has homered to give the Pirates a 4-1 lead. Right there.
Wow, he wasn't running hard at all. He was just jogging.
Maybe a cramp. I don't know.
Maybe a cramp. We wish it was a cramp.
Thoughts, Dragon Ball?
Nicky G. Well, first of all, before we get Dragon Ball's thoughts, let me tell the folks about our guy, Nick Gonzalez from Cienega High School, who hit. First of all, he wins the opening day second base job for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he's going to be playing behind the best young pitcher. He did win the National League Rookie of the Year, correct? Paul Skeens didn't he? He won? Yeah.
Yes.
National League Rookie of the Year last year. I couldn't remember. So not only do the Pirates blow their bullpen blows, blew Paul Skeens' nice 5+ inning effort, but Nick Gonzalez on that home run has a displaced fracture in his left ankle and is headed to the 10-day injured list. A displaced fracture. And if you watch the video, it doesn't look like he stepped wrong or anything out of that coming out of the box. He just kind of pulled up right before he got to first base. So clearly something happened out of the box.
The worst injuries happen that way. Bo Jackson, right? Where it doesn't really look very innocuous, like nothing happened.
I mean, this is reaching the level of Moises Alou tearing his ACL on the treadmill in his own house levels of like, how does this possibly happen? I mean, this is something. It's a home run trot.
Yeah.
You can't break your ankle on a trot. That's like saying that you broke your knee skipping down the yellow brick road to Oz. It doesn't just happen. Something out of the ordinary has to curse you for that to be a possibility.
That sucks. It sucks for Nick Gonzalez. Further tests, again, fracture in his left ankle. He's going to be headed back to Pittsburgh to see a foot specialist to determine a rehab schedule. That from Noah Hiles of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. So Nick Gonzalez's first season as a full-time starter short-circuited early in game number 1.
That happened to one of your Guardians, too. Zach Plesac.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah.
So he had literally the same non-displaced fracture in his right thumb. And according to Terry Francona, it was because he took his jersey off too hard.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, you got I remember that now. Thanks for bringing
that's what I'm here
back
for.
to my memory.
I mean, it's not any worse than, say, a frustrated Amari Stoudemire punching the fire extinguisher case and messing up his hand.
Who was the guy who headbutted the concrete wall?
Gus Farad.
Oh, gosh.
Gus Farad.
Yeah. So get well, Nikki G. Get well, Nikki G. I'm sure he'll be back, and soon, hopefully, it won't be anything that'll prolong him being out of the lineup for the Pirates, because they need all the help they can get there in Pittsburgh for Paul Skeens. 520-848-1290. Again, the pros. That's another edition of this. You've gotten 2 editions of the Pros Play Here, sponsored by Nobody. So get on board and sponsor that segment if you'd like. That's our look at folks that have come up here in Tucson, whether it's high school athletes like Nick Gonzalez out of Cienega High School, or who did we have earlier? Austin Wells, who was a slugger for the Arizona Wildcats baseball team. The Pros Play Here. We try to keep you up to date on everything that they're doing when they exit Tucson for bigger, better things.
Speaking of Arizona baseball.
Yeah. Tonight, Arizona opens up a 3-game series with the Baylor Bears.
And tomorrow,
we've got games back on the radio with Brian Jeffries. So we give Brian Jeffries 1 travel day.
Right.
And that's it. Back in the booth, Brian. What do you think? You're going to get a week off like me?
We're complaining about 6 months of pre and post. And Brian's like, I'm just do football into basketball into baseball. No big deal.
Exactly. 1 day off, 1 travel day back from a long 6-hour or 5-hour flight from New Jersey, and back in the booth tomorrow. 5:45 is pregame for game 2 of the series between the Baylor Bears, and the Arizona Wildcats. And then game 3 of the series will wrap at noon on Sunday with an 11:45 broadcast time. You'll hear both those games here on Wildcats Radio 1290. No softball in the air this week. The ladies are on the road. They're playing a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series at BYU. Of course, BYU does not play on Sundays, so you have to move those series up a day. Devin Netz last night pitched a perfect game, a 5-inning run rule perfect game for the Arizona Wildcats. She hit a home run.
I never looked that up. We said that on the air last night. I was like, bro, like a perfect game with a home run, Dragon Ball? I mean, how rare does that have to be at any level?
Any level, no. I mean, that again, you're in baseball, you're only talking like Shohei Ohtani can even attempt to go ahead and do something like that. But I mean, Devin, she was throwing a good one yesterday. She was throwing a real good one.
Here is one note off of this. Devin Netz is the only pitcher known to have thrown a perfect game. This is NCAA history. History is the only pitcher known to have thrown a perfect game while also hitting a home run, which she did yesterday. So she apparently, according this is AI overview. So I'd imagine they're pulling this information from somewhere. She's the first person to ever do that in the history of college softball.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Like I've been following sports a minute, so I've never heard of anybody pitching a perfect game and hitting a home run as well in softball or baseball.
Yeah. And the Wildcats are off to a 1-zip lead today on the road up in Provo against the BYU Cougars. All right. It is that time that you've all been waiting for, the time that DK tries to help you win some money and align your pocketbooks. It is time for the BetMGM Network play of the day. And this BetMGM top play is brought to you locally by Oral Ford at 3950 West Highway 77 in Oracle.
Will the third time still be the charm for Kentucky? I'm Joe Ostrowski here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM Network. Kentucky swept Tennessee in the regular season, and the Wildcats have a number of wins against top 10 opponents. We've also seen the Tennessee coach choke in this spot before. So I'm backing Kentucky as a 4.5-point dog against their conference rival tonight. I'm Joe Ostrowski from the BetMGM Network. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly.
It's Truck Month at Oro Ford, and the savings are huge. Get $11,000 off MSRP on new 24 Ford F-150s. Or take $13,000 off MSRP on a new 25 Ford Expedition. Want adventure? Drive home a new 24 Ford Bronco with $6,000 off MSRP. And here's the best part. Oro Ford is an easy drive from anywhere in Tucson, and you'll pay 2% less in taxes. Only at Oro Ford. Oro Ford, where Tucson saves on trucks. Restrictions may apply. See Oro Ford for details.
All right, my apologies. I meant to get that to you earlier because I forgot that game started at 4:40. So it is actually underway right now. But Kentucky plus 4.5, you can probably still get a number or two on that because they still do have lines once these games start. The Wildcats have twice beaten, as you heard the man say, Joe Ostrowski there, they twice beaten the Vols this season. The Vols were number 5 when they beat them at home, 75-64. The Vols were number 8 when they went on the road, did Kentucky and win in Lexington, 78-73. So difficult to beat a team 3 times, but Kentucky will try to do that and get to the Elite 8 tonight.
I thought basketball was over till October.
There are 4 games tonight. Michigan, Ole Miss, nearing the end of the first half.
MSU.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michigan State, Ole Miss. My bad. Spartans.
Michigan is playing tonight, but they're playing Auburn.
Yes. I've got to play on that one as well. Ole Miss is leading Michigan State 31-22. That is nearing the end of the first half. Early, Tennessee up on Kentucky 7-4. Later, it'll be number 1 seed Auburn against Michigan. Brad Evans says take Michigan plus the 9 points tonight over Auburn, even though the Tigers are the number 1 seed. That's a minus 113 bet right now over at the Desert Diamond Casino. Take the Wolverines plus the 9 points. Your last game of the day is the last Big 12 team remaining. Houston, the top seed in the Midwest, will take on Purdue. All of these two, the games tonight are in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium and at State Farm Arena in Atlanta. So those are your games on tap. We've also had women's basketball today. South Carolina survived against Maryland. So Brenda Freeze and company, Arizona Wildcat grad, Brenda Freeze and her Terps look like they might have an opportunity to pull off the upset, but South Carolina held them off in the end. They advance. Duke beats North Carolina on the women's side as the two rivals were playing in the Sweet 16.
Give that score out.
47-38 was the final there.
So Arizona and Duke last night in the men's game scored more points in the first half than those two teams did in the whole game.
Yeah, there was each team, there were 4 single-digit quarters. Duke had single-digit quarters in the first and third. North Carolina had single-digit quarters in the second and fourth.
So is that great defense or bad shooting? I'd
have to look at it. I'd have to look at the shooting.
Probably a combination of both of that.
28% on the game for the Tar Heels and 31% for the Blue Devils.
LSU off to a quick 10-point lead on North Carolina State. Kim Mulkey trying to get back to the Elite Eight. I'm always a huge Kim Mulkey fan. I've told you that before. She's the first women's basketball player that I really enjoyed watching when I was in high school.
Why did you enjoy watching her?
Because she was on TV all the time, and she was like 5'0", and we're like, who's this 5'0" girl like blowing past people and scoring buckets?
I thought you thought she was cute or something.
Yeah, well, she was. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Yes. Okay. Yes, she was. Ole Miss and UCLA coming up a little bit later as well. UCLA is the number 1 seed and whatever. And Gino's upset about this whole. They've got everything being played in 2 locations.
Super pod regionals. So like instead of 4 regionals, they have 2 now, and this is the second year back to back that they've had to go from Stores to the Northwest, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, Spokane is hosting two regionals, and Birmingham is hosting 2 regionals. I guess that's maybe to try to draw more people. I don't know.
I think that's got to be right. Yeah.
All right. I'll give you some more plays in the 5 o'clock hour. I got some NBA stuff. We won on our bet last against the other night against the Nuggets and the Bucks. Or I'm sorry, we lost on that bet. We'll go over all that right now. Though Dragon Ball's got everything happening for you in sports here in Southern Arizona and around the world.
Well, again, we mentioned it. While Arizona basketball season is officially done, baseball and softball in full swing. The teams continue their Big 12 schedules. Softball team is making the trip out to Provo. They took on BYU with first pitch that was at 4 p.m. today. Baseball, meanwhile, they had first pitch at High Corbett Field here at 6 p.m. today. Game 2 of the series will be also at High C, and we will have that game for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290. First pitch there also at 6 p.m. again. On the professional side of the diamond, it was a tough start for Zach Gallen and the Diamondbacks yesterday, with manager Troy Lavello saying that his ace may have just been struggling with his timing in that first game.
That's what I'm feeling like. The rhythm just wasn't there. He's got as good of a down fastball with carry as anybody in the league. So I think maybe the carry wasn't there, and there might have been a little bit of a yank. It looked like it was just falling off the plate a tiny bit. And I went back and looked at the pitches. The umpire got a lot of them right. And Gabby was squaring them up, and it looked like the pitches were missed, but they weren't. So I just think it was probably a little bit of a yank. And Zach can probably tell you exactly what that means. I'm just looking from my seat. They're uncustomary misses, and an 11 in a row, that's a big number for Zach.
I'd like somebody to tell me what a little bit of a yank is. We've had Tori, we've had a little bit of a yank and too many stressors.
Didn't he say uncustomary yank?
Stressors and yanks.
Well, again, the D-backs again go up against the Cubs for Game 2 of their series. Merrill Kelly gets the start. Brandon Pfaadt, you heard earlier, agreed to a 5-year contract with the Diamondbacks earlier today. Looking across the National Tournament updates right now, again, you mentioned South Carolina beat Maryland. Duke beats North Carolina. Right now, LSU beating NC State early in the first quarter, with Ole Miss and UCLA finishing up the Sweet 16 round for today's game on the women's side. On the men's side, Ole Miss and Michigan State currently at it. Ole Miss leading Michigan State early in the first quarter, and Kentucky and Tennessee with a lead against the Wildcats at this point, with Michigan, Auburn later, as well as Purdue and Houston as your nightcap. I'm Dragon Ball with your 2020 Sports Update on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, this is Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Collision occurred I-19 near Irvington, and that collision off towards the left shoulder. Southbound I-19 slowing between Ajo and Irvington. Northbound I-19 slowing between Valencia to just north of Irvington. Collision at Valencia and Country Club. At Glen and Stone, a reported residential fire. You might see fire crews on scene. 57 the overnight low, highs near 80 and breezy this weekend. 85 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Arizona Lottery.
When you play the Arizona Lottery, there's always a chance you'll win big, but there's also a guarantee that you'll be giving back to the community. There's joy in it all. Love the play with scratchers, draw games, and more from the Arizona Lottery.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Wildcat fans, Taco Bell is a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and is ready to serve you. We are open for breakfast. Fire up your mornings with breakfast at Taco Bell. You've heard about happy hour? Well, try Happier Hour at your local Taco Bell for $1 beverages. From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., choose any regular freezes or medium drink for $1. It's the happiest time of the day. Taco Bell is locally owned and operated and is looking forward to serving Wildcat fans. Stay safe, bear down, and live Mas.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I thought I'd book a trip to Italy to celebrate retiring.
We didn't speak Italian.
We didn't then. We do now. Because of Babbel.
Babbel is the easy-to-use app that uses immersive lessons to teach you a new language in a way that sticks. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you text radio to 64,000. That's radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Spring Sale and get 30% off paints and stains March 28th through April 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-292-7815. 800-292-7815. Again, that's 800-292-7815.
Your home for everything Arizona Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290, KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hour number 3 of our program, final show of the week. We'll be back with you on Monday. We'll have to figure out how the schedule is going to look the next few weeks as their broadcast season has come to an end with Arizona's loss to Duke last night, 100-93. So, you know, there might be some times when you hear the network on here coming up in the next few weeks or so. We were talking about, and I want to play this shot here from Brandon Pfaadt, who got an extension today from the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he's scheduled to make his first start of the season tomorrow night in game number 3 of the series for the Diamondbacks against the Chicago Cubs. But he got a 5-year extension worth $45 million. Let's hear from Brandon Pfaadt. He was asked, he actually talked on MLB Network and was asked if this extension had been in the works for a long time.
No, it was pretty recent. I think in the last week or so, they brought it to our attention, and we were able to get a deal done. So not till towards the end of spring training, and we got the deal done.
All right, so he's only going to make, this is a contract extension. This is what a lot of, mid-market teams will do. They'll sign guys before their arbitration years. He's only going to make $790,000 this year before his new contract kicks in next year. So, again, it doesn't matter if he gets hurt or not. He's still going to get paid because the contract begins next season. But it's crazy to think that he's only making $800,000 this year, and then next year he's going to jump to being a multi-millionaire. But good for Brandon Pfaadt. The Diamondbacks have been trying to sign a lot of their core young players. It was a strategy that the Indians used in the 90s to build their championship teams. The Diamondbacks have done it. They inked a deal with Geraldo Perdomo, 4 years, $45 million. They inked reliever Justin Martinez, 5 years, $18 million. I've got Justin Martinez too on my fantasy team. It's a smart move. It's a smart way of doing business to lock these guys up before their Arbitron years. And good to see the Diamondbacks identifying the players that they want to do that with moving forward. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. Call us at that number. Text us at that number, guys, as we reach the end of the basketball season. And we're not going to dive necessarily we're going to talk, obviously, coming up to Matt Moreno later in this hour. And Matt is keen on the recruiting trail. We'll get his thoughts on the Koa Pete decision from yesterday. And obviously with talk around Koa Pete, you begin to wonder what this roster is going to look like next season for Arizona basketball. And last night we were talking a little bit about, the decision that is facing one young man by the name of Carter Bryant, who is very high on a number of draft boards. So I just pulled up 3 mock drafts. NBA Draft Room has Carter Bryant going number 9 overall, so that would be a lottery selection there. CBSSports.com has him at number 21 currently to the Miami Heat. The first team with the number 9 pick, that would be the Spurs. So, Carter Bryant and Wemby and Darren together. That would be interesting to watch.
Don't forget Stephen.
Yeah, and the Spurs have a number of picks in the first round of this upcoming draft, I do believe. The NBA.com has him also going to the Spurs at
Can
number
we
16.
wait 25 days to talk roster for Arizona basketball? Because that's when the window to enter the transfer portal ends. And if people don't know, players can enter their name in the transfer portal window during this 30 days up until April 22nd, but then there's no timeline for them to go to a new school. So what I'm really mean there is we don't know roster-wise which players are going to stay, right? I mean, that's a situation that happened last year, and so it's so hard even to think about who's coming in if you don't know anybody. We might not even be thinking about who's not going to be here on the roster next year. I'm being facetious, obviously. We can talk about roster construction all you want. And we won't really know because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with the players that are currently here.
Exactly. There's been a lot of conjecture about the possible future of Toby Awaka and what that might look like. I mean, I can't imagine. Again, I guess I can't imagine. Maybe that's the statement. I can't imagine a Arizona team without a player like Toby Awaka 10 years ago. But the way this thing works, I mean, I'd hate to see him go, man. He was really fun to watch this year, and can he get more minutes playing somewhere else? Is the role that he played here as a starter playing about 20 minutes is that satisfactory? I'd love to see him on this roster moving forward, because I think I don't know that I've seen too many big men in the 17 years I've been covering this team that could go it at the offensive end and grab the boards like he could.
Did you hear Rhino's final thoughts last night in the broadcast?
I don't know
What
if I
he
heard
said
that
was, we don't know what's going to happen, and if players do decide to transfer, understand that those decisions are made in the best interest of the players. Wasn't there a football player who came here to be closer to his son?
Yeah, Cowing.
There
Jacob
you go.
Cowing, yep.
So, like, the idea of maybe there's a school out there that has a better book club that Tobe Awaka would like to be a part of. Like, we don't know the personal reasoning behind it. It's not always basketball-centric. I loved watching Reuben Douglas lead the nation in scoring after he left here because he couldn't get playing time. I think it was over Gill. So those scenarios will always happen. You just wish the players the best in whatever choices that they make. And the Arizona family will always be the Arizona family. If you listen to what those players said about Caleb Love and each other and their experience this year, I mean, clearly there's a tight bond. And we live in a world, guys, with revenue sharing right around the corner and NIL money being thrown around by a lot of different boosters and schools, and there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes we're not privy to. So a lot this is already a record number of people in the portal after last year was the record, and it's just going to be like that moving forward.
How about we had a chance the last hour to talk to Justin Wessel? How about Justin Wessel throwing Kelvin Efon's name in the same sentence with Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, being the captain of the best, record football team, most successful football team after. I mean, I remember watching Kelvin. I remember shooting around with Kelvin at the gym when he was a freshman, that whole freshman class. And go down the list of that freshman class. That was, Edgerson and Bibby and Ash and all those guys. And there's a really good class. But, yeah, I mean, Kelvin, K-Rock is that dude. And anybody from that era who was on campus has basically this exact same things to say about what Kelvin Efon meant to the programs.
Absolutely. Great stuff, though, by getting a chance to talk to Justin Wessel. It was interesting because, again, going back to what I've said about how my baseline for this program has been Sweet 16. Get to the Sweet 16 and then take your chances to try to get through that second weekend to get to the third weekend. I thought it was very interesting that he said back in their day that the Sweet 16, just getting to the Sweet 16 was not acceptable. That was not the goal. The goal was always to win a national championship, and they were disappointed if they got to the Sweet 16 and didn't advance. So, again, I kind of shared the conversation I was having with our frequent messenger, Rich Carrillo, a couple of days ago, and how he said, hey, if you're settling for the Sweet 16, he termed it as if you're settling for the Sweet 16, that's a little bit soft. But again, you just heard the mentality of a guy that played in this program. How, we wanted to get to the Final Four, and if we didn't get to the Final Four, then everybody was upset.
Well, we've already talked about it several times. The idea behind you're going to lose first-round games. You're going to have a team shoot 75% from three. That's the way the NCAA tournament works. So there's been quite a lot of teams at Arizona that made deep runs to the Elite Eight or Final Four based upon the year prior. So what Justin said was they went to the Sweet 16 they won the national championship when he was redshirting. Then they went to the Sweet 16, and then they flamed out a couple of years, and then they got to the finals. So it's that cycle of it doesn't matter how much NBA talent was on that team that lost early before they went to the 2001 finals, right? So the process of losing as a team early and taking that feeling into the summer, of course, the goal for a program like Arizona is always national championship, always. And like I said when Rich first texted that, I think if you make it to the Sweet 16 and you lose, if your mindset is I'm a failure, like that's not how any of this works. The goal is always Sweet 16. The goal is always to go as far as humanly possible. And there's always going to be scenarios when you run up against a really good Duke team that's playing really well and you give it your all. And sure, could Caleb taken that shot at the end of the half a little bit later in the clock? Maybe. Like, you're going to nitpick and such, but I don't personally consider Sweet 16 run, especially in a year like this, to be a, quote, failure. And yes, they shoot higher Dragon Ball. They're always trying to get as far as humanly possible every single year in the tournament.
Yeah, no, and I think in moments like this, I feel like we all need to go back and watch that old Giannis Antetokounmpo speech that he had with the reporter. When the reporter asked him, "Do you view this season as a failure?" and Giannis just immediately grabbed his face and sighed, said, "Okay, let's go over what that means. What does exactly it mean to be considered a failure when everyone's going for the same goal and somebody just happened to be better than you one day?" I mean, there's so many things that go into winning a basketball game that it is very difficult to have that conversation about, like, oh, what we did was a failure this year.
And real quick, the question was asked because they had won the NBA title the year before.
Yeah.
They had already had success. So, like, the expectations get higher the more success you have. Hello, Arizona basketball fans.
David, don't hold your fingers like that. The cameras react to it.
I didn't even think about it.
David's holding his fingers out, Liz, and the camera's like zooming in and out on him. You got to be careful. This is like you can't throw your gang signals up here.
I'm not doing that. There's no signs there. I'm
just making a wildcat.
I'm just telling somebody to steal second base.
Now Cricket's camera's completely gone. Cricket is back. Well, yeah, there you go. Keep turning.
You do the thing. Hey.
See, there you go. All right.
So when we start waving our fingers around, it does weird stuff?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, don't put up the L signal. Don't put up the cat claws. Don't put up any gang signs or anything like that because the cameras react to everything that they see here. All right, Cricket is back with us now. Cricket, what is going on in Southern Arizona this weekend? I want to be outside. I was thinking, is it going to be warm enough for me to hang out at a pool? Maybe
it's
like
80.
Vacation is underway.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right?
Right.
Well, I wanted to tell you tonight that War is in concert at Fox Tucson Theater. Well, they're still performing, but sadly they sold out.
Oh.
So you can't go. Sorry for the bad news. But tomorrow night at the Fox, it's Rock With You, the Michael Jackson experience, to perform the entire Thriller album tomorrow night. Still tickets available for that. I double-checked. Sorry, I waved my finger around. The cameras are going to do something. Sorry. Okay, I won't do that again. Maybe some shopping outdoors. The Foothills Community Markets are tomorrow and Sunday from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. at Foothills Mall. Wild Wonders opening night tomorrow at Reed Park Zoo at 4:30, which is like this big celebration that honors the cultural traditions of Southern Arizona and Mexico. That's going to happen through April 30th. On Sunday, Fine Wines for Felines from 4 to 6 at Arizona Wine Collective on Campbell.
Yeah, that's my spot.
That your spot?
That's our spot.
And that event on Sunday to benefit Positively Cats No Kill Shelter.
All right. And we've got the home show, correct? That's
correct.
This weekend, too.
Yeah,
Do we still have any tickets left for that? Do you know?
Well, we're closed.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so we're closed, so nobody could pick up tickets.
Why are we still here?
Let's go.
Closed. Let's go
home.
Let's just go. Everybody, get up and leave. It'll be anarchy. As they said in that movie one time. What's on your agenda?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, car repairs.
Super
fun.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
what about you guys?
Is that going to be expensive? Or?
Probably.
Yeah.
It always is.
It always is.
You have to get a bigger, better engine now?
You want to tell the listeners why you need car repairs?
Something has been gnawing away at wires in my engine compartment.
So we weren't. I was just joking about that the other day. No, that was really what happened.
That's real. That's real.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow they're wrapping all my wires with rodent tape, and I'm getting like an estimate on rack and pinion and tie rods and ball joints. Super fun, right?
Pro tip. Don't spring bacon juice all over your engine compartment.
No. That was my bad. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't.
Bacon juice? Is that what attracts the...
Well, anything that could potentially make a rodent think that something is food.
Yeah, don't cook eggs on your...
Don't pull a Kramer and put your groceries in the engine block of the car just because the trunk can't fit everything. Yeah, don't do that.
Your hand signals just triggered the camera right there.
There you go again.
I didn't do it.
No,
my hand was out here.
Not you, her.
Oh, I did?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I did it again. I'm sorry.
Camera.
I'd use my hands. I'll sit on my hands.
There you go. All right.
I won't do that.
Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic. Have a great weekend, Cricket.
You too, guys. Enjoy your Saturday off, except for Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
From the Auto Nation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center at your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. So this is way up north, but thought I'd give you a heads up. State Route 79 north of Oracle Junction. It is closed. State Route 79 north of Oracle Junction is closed due to brush fires. We've got some slowdowns westbound on Ajo at Mission and also on eastbound I-10 approaching and passing Alvernon. 57 the overnight low, highs this weekend near 80, little breezy as well, and 83 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. At Jackson Hewitt, expert tax prep is now $149 or less, but only for a limited time. Hurry. Book your appointment at jacksonhewitt.com today. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other, sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive Alaska vacation, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every Alaska vacation comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last.
No.
Do we have to sing? Yes. All summer long with an Alaska
no.
To me, if you Scrooges don't get anything from the Alaska Vacation Bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with Alaska vacation, it will always blow strong.
Hi, Alex Medina, owner of Oro Ford. I was just saying to my ad agency the other day, if I could just get people to go to my website, they'd see the transparency. They'd see I don't have dealer add-ons, that my advertised discounts are on all my vehicles, not just a select few. I said to him, if I could just get people to go to oralford.com, they'd see the rebates are crystal clear and you save thousands with 2% lower taxes. It's all right there. My website is oralford.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
What's in a name? With Sweet Deals, everything you want at savings you never dreamt possible. No membership fees, no wait. And with the new Sweet Deals Premium tab, everyday deals on brands you know, names you want, savings you need. Sweet Deals Premium. Designer handbags, luxury cruises, accommodations, golf clubs, gift cards, autographed sports memorabilia. Find it all and save big at sweetdeals.com. Click the Premium tab. Shop, buy, save. Up to 70% off. Sweetdeals.com. Premium.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hey, it's David Kelly, DK on the Sports Tip. Don't forget to download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. It slaps. We've got full coverage of the Wildcats, the Suns, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, Pima College. Download the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today.
It's a tremendous.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports. The NCAA basketball tournament is in full swing, and so is the sports coaching carousel. Headlining the new hires is Molly Miller, who was introduced as the head coach at Arizona State this week. Miller just completed her 5th year leading the Grand Canyon program. The Antelopes finished the season with a 32-3 record and an NCAA tournament berth. And now Miller is staying in the Phoenix area. She's tasked with turning around an Arizona State program that hasn't played in the Big Dance since 2019.
Let's go! Like, you're going to be my people. I can't wait to ingrain myself in the student body and have you all come see a fun brand of basketball, but something you're going to be really, really proud of to represent Arizona State.
Amid Miller's departure for Arizona State, her old employer, Grand Canyon, hired Winston Gandy to be their new head coach. Gandy helped guide South Carolina to the national championship last season as an assistant. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Jody Jackson on Westwood One.
Tomorrow's road, unpaved, unmapped, uncertain, but it's also where we discover what we can truly count on, like the 2027 X15 engine by Cummins. With better fuel efficiency, up to 605 horsepower, and 2,050 pound-feet of torque, the X15 is a bedrock of reliability that stands forever ready to rise to the occasion. The 2027 X15, forever rising. Estimates based on preliminary testing. Individual results may vary.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
It's the Wildcat Hour, which means it's time for our Arizona Insiders. Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions of U of A football, basketball, and the Big 12. So bear down, Wildcat Nation, and let's talk Arizona football basketball. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Coors Light, choose chill.
All right, let's talk some Arizona basketball, Arizona football, all things recruiting with our guy, Matt Moreno from Rivals. He covers the West Coast as well as formerly with GoAZCats.com as well. And Matt now based out in Southern California, traipsing up and down San Diego and Los Angeles, seeing all of the great prospects here in the West. Matt, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. First, obviously, I know you still watch a lot of things happening here with Arizona football and men's basketball. Just what were your impressions of the Wildcats and their run to the Sweet 16 before losing last night to Duke?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting game for sure. And, you know, it went down by 19 at one point. You're like, oh, man, this is not what you'd want, and this is not how you want your season to end if you're Tommy Lloyd. And with this particular group, and we're able to kind of make a little bit of a comeback. Caleb Love played great. You kind of expect that when he's playing Duke. And so that wasn't a shock. But I think, you know, it'd be remiss to not say that, you know, if you're an Arizona fan, you feel a little, you know, let down by, you know, another – feels like early eggs that I know Arizona fans get so used to and want to be like, no, you got to get to the Final Four every year, and it's been so long since they've been there. But it feels, you know, like another one of those seasons where they're just going to be left a little bit unfulfilled, you know, by this run. And ran into a super talented team in Duke. I mean, Cooper Flagg he is for real. He's the real deal, and just didn't have a lot of answers for him. And you know, nobody does. You know, that's kind of the deal this year with him and his abilities and his talent. And somebody, you know, I watched, you know, fair amount, you know, as a high school prospect, and everyone kind of knew, like, hey, when this guy reaches college, when this guy reaches the next level, he's going to be a problem for any team that's facing him. And, you know, it's worked out that way. And you know, tough matchup for Arizona. Didn't really have an answer for him. Really talented team in Duke. And so no shame in losing to that Duke team, but I know Arizona fans, I'm sure, are going to feel pretty unfulfilled by this season.
Matt Morano from Rivals is our guest. And Matt, you know, it's still less than 24 hours since the Wildcats lost, but never too early, I guess, to start talking about what the roster is going to look like next season. We were just talking in the last segment about Carter Bryant, and I want to start there. How often did you get a chance to see him coming up through high school? He was just a really impressive young man this season.
Absolutely, and I watched him really throughout his high school career, and I've known about him since really before he even hit high school. He comes from a family of very talented athletes, and his dad played at Long Beach State. His uncle played at Missouri. McDonald's All-American, at Missouri and before heading to Missouri, and just comes from a really talented family of athletes. And so you had heard about, hey, there's this young guy. He was down in Orange County at the time and started out at Fountain Valley High School. And you're like, there's this kid that's coming up that's going to be really talented. And people have a good idea about his family out in Southern California and kind of what they're about and the product that they've been before in their time. But there was this kind of conversation of like, you got to watch out for this young guy that's coming up. And as soon as he hit the scene in high school, it was like, oh, this guy has the makings of somebody to be really, really talented. And, played at a few different schools, a few different high schools, but always looked the part. And always you could tell that there was not only potential there, but there was true production. And that's kind of what you hope to see is like somebody who can get things done and do things on the floor, as a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. But you also want that ceiling. And with Carter Bryant, I think you saw that play out throughout the season. The player that you saw, last night and towards the end of this season was not the guy you saw early on in the year. And so there was some true development there. And he's starting to kind of realize that potential that everyone saw in him. But, he's playing out of position a lot in high school. And because of his size, he was used, down in the post quite a bit. So
right.
you never truly got to see what we saw this season from Carter Bryant because just of how high school works. And a lot of times, he's 6 or 7 inches taller than everybody else on his team, so he's playing center and he's playing power forward and you're like, that's not his game. I know that's not his game. And so this year was really kind of the first time you got to see him be around the talent that he was, obviously, but, play kind of his true position. And so I think that really helped him. And I really like his ceiling. It'll be very interesting. I think it felt like every time you turn on an Arizona game during, the postseason here, even late in the regular season, it was like, oh, he's making himself some money. So it's going to be hard, I think, to turn down that opportunity to get drafted. Obviously, he continues to kind of rise up the mock draft boards, and there's a lot of NBA buzz about him. But, man, if Arizona's able to get him back, he would be such a huge catalyst to whatever this next roster is going to look like.
We're pleased to be joined by Matt Moreno from Rivals, covers the all recruiting on the West Coast. And obviously yesterday, the Arizona basketball program got the commitment from Koa Pete, 4-time state champion up at Gilbert Perry. How similar are their games, Koa and Carter?
A little bit different. I think they could definitely coexist. And so Koa is going to be a little bit more of a front court presence. They do have similar size. And, if you look at kind of the NBA model and then the picture, maybe Koa is maybe a little bit undersized for that position, but he's a little bit more power forward than Carter. He definitely has a great frame, coming from a family of football players. You can kind of see that in his makeup and what he looks like. And not that he plays the game like a football player, but you can tell there's some physicality to kind of what he's learned and how he's kind of been, brought up as an athlete. And so a little bit more kind of a front court style to his game. There's been some kind of Paolo Banchero comparisons, maybe even some Blake Griffin thrown out there where there's a physicality to his game that you really like. And so I think they could definitely coexist. Koa doesn't necessarily have that three-point shot as kind of the last missing element of his game, but he's great in the mid-range. He can definitely play in the post, really skilled in the post. And he's going to bring some power and some athleticism and physicality to, the front court and, could potentially play on the perimeter at times, but pretty solid ball handler. But I think they could definitely coexist because you look at Carter Bryant, he's kind of a prototypical wing player, both in college and at the next level in the NBA. He really fits kind of that mold and has a three-point game and can take it, can shoot a little bit better from the perimeter. So I think they could definitely coexist. And if Arizona is able to make that happen, that's a heck of a duo. But, similar size, but different games, I think, in some different ways.
Matt Moreno joining us from Rivals. And Matt, have you gotten a sense out on the recruiting trail with revenue sharing coming up where Arizona's going to kind of fit in to this whole system in terms of the type of players they're going to be able to go out and get and offer whatever the monetary values are going to be that they'll be able to offer?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's becoming kind of more the norm, obviously, and kind of becoming more public. But until you know exact numbers, it's so difficult, and people are still kind of trying to keep that all under wraps. And players don't openly talk about, hey, I'm going to get this much or that much, and a lot of it is coming from agents and people that are involved kind of in the background in making these deals happen. And so you never can be too sure about the numbers that you hear. A lot of them have been inflated, is what it sounds like in a lot of ways for not only Arizona, but just not even Arizona, but just kind of nationally and around the game. It's, the numbers kind of get skewed in a lot of ways for a number of different reasons. But I would say that Arizona is going to be competitive. I don't think it's come up like, hey, Arizona isn't going to be competitive with what they want to do. I think the thing that I've noticed, the NIL era, now we're going to the revenue sharing era. I think the thing that you're going to look at, and kind of when you see Tommy Lloyd and how he operates, players that are just chasing money, I think, are not going to be the guys who end up at Arizona. And that's just kind of the feeling and how it's been. And, you've seen some recruitments kind of play out over the last couple of years where Arizona's heavily involved, and then you kind of see that shift, and those guys maybe start to rise up the rankings a little bit, start to get a little bit more notoriety. You start to see some other programs who, quite frankly, they play the money game, and that they have deep pockets, and that's what element they're bringing to the table in a lot of ways, and you see them start to enter the picture, and you kind of start to see Arizona fade away a little bit. And so I don't think that's a coincidence. I think Tommy Lloyd is kind of not about playing that money game and being like, hey, I'm just going to go to the highest bidder. I think he wants to find guys that really want to be at Arizona, really want to play for this staff. And so I think that's going to be the interesting thing to see, is how much of that lessens, or if that's still going to be kind of the MO for Tommy Lloyd and the staff of like, hey, we're not going to play these games with the money and, you just want the most amount of money. We want to find the right fit. And so I think when you look at the players that they're, really attracting and really targeting and focusing on, because, they don't cast a wide net. That's been different than what Sean Miller was doing. Sean Miller would offer kind of everybody early on, and would offer a lot of guys in the 8th grade and 9th grade and kind of cast a wide net and then narrow his focus later, which is kind of pretty normal for a lot of programs. Tommy Lloyd is really not that way. Tommy Lloyd is like, hey, I have like 5 to 10 guys that I really like in the high school ranks, and I'm going to just put everything into trying to get those guys to Arizona. And so you've seen that play out with Koa Pete. I mean, Koa Pete's recruitment started when he was in 8th grade, and Arizona identified him very, very early on. Like, this is a guy that we want. Saw that all the way through. It can be difficult because sometimes new teams come into the picture, and, your 4 years of recruiting a player kind of goes down the drain. But yeah. I think kind of based on what we've seen in the last few years with NIL and kind of going to this revenue sharing era, I'll be interested to see kind of what the narrative looks like and how it kind of shapes up, because Tommy Lloyd really hasn't played that money game, and it's really been about finding the right fit and the right players for his system.
Real quick, Matt, let's shift to football real quick here. A complete flip-flop between Arizona and Arizona State from 1 year to the next, when the Wildcats were coming off the Alamo Bowl win and all the talent they had coming back before Jed Fish left, and then the upheaval with that, but being able to keep that class, and then Arizona State being picked to finish 16th, but ascending to the top and winning the conference. Where is Arizona on the recruiting trail right now in terms of how they're perceived by high schools across the West?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting position, because I think they're definitely not where they were kind of coming off that big class when they got Noah Fafita, Tetero McMillan, Jacob Manu, kind of had all those pieces together. They were the hot name. Arizona was like the hot name. Jed Fish was that coach that everybody wanted to at least, see what he was about and take visits to Tucson. It's changed and it's different. But I think one thing that you're seeing right now that's really becoming really prevalent is Seth Agee. He has a lot of connections, stepping in as the offensive coordinator, and you're seeing some really high-level quarterbacks decide that they want to stop by Tucson and take some visits, and high-level offensive players really, showing true interest in Arizona right now in a lot of ways because of Seth Agee and their excitement about what he's going to bring to the table, with his system and just who he is as a person and recruiter. And so I've heard his name quite a bit on the recruiting trail heading into the spring. And, I think that's going to be really key for Arizona as they build this thing. Is I think they found something with him in terms of being able to kind of take their recruiting into the next level. And so I think he's going to be very, very key in what they do next. And a lot of recruits really like him, and he's grabbing some attention of a lot of players. And so I think you're going to see some big names stop by Tucson this spring during spring ball to check out what he's about. But especially once official visits start here, in April and May and June especially, I think you're going to see some high-level recruits stop by Arizona in a lot of ways because Seth Agee is there now.
All right. Well, we'll see how that all plays out. Matt, always an honor to talk to you, and we look forward to the next chance to do that.
Absolutely. Anytime, DK.
Matt Moreno from Rivals, West Coast recruiting, all things Arizona football and basketball, as well as every other school up and down the western side of the United States. Cricket is getting you home on the 20s, on the 5s, I should say, every 20 minutes. Last segment, straight ahead, DK on the Sports Tip.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With some slowdowns, usual slowing that is, for westbound Ajo approaching Mission. Some slowing on eastbound I-10 approaching the Ajo-Kino connection to as you pass Alvernon Way. For our weather, 57 the overnight low, highs near 80 and breezy this weekend, and 82 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
Discover luxury at BMW of Tucson, your premier BMW dealership. Explore our extensive inventory, lease specials, and state-of-the-art service. Visit us at the Tucson Auto Mall or at bmwoftucson.com today.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Springfest is here at Lowe's with fresh savings. Right now, get a free Select Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a Select Ego trimmer, blower, or mower. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable. All right, she's inside. Are you good?
Yeah, it's just, she's my baby girl, you know?
I do, and ceramic coating was a good choice.
She's beautiful.
Yep, I know.
Recon Auto Detailing. Enhance or restore your baby to her former glory with paint recondition, ceramic coating, paint protection, tinting, and more for full protection of your vehicle inside and out. New cars, old cars, we love them all. Recon Auto Detailing, 3829 North Oracle Road, Tucson. ReconDetail.com.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 five-star Google reviews from across Arizona. Like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THEEAGLE.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-289-6215. That's 800-289-6215. 800-289-6215.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Spring is here and the weather can be unpredictable. Now's the time to start preparing for the long, hot summer. If your air conditioner is tired and worn out, call Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to provide you with the right options for your home. We are offering 4 years same-as-cash financing on high-efficient Rheem air conditioning systems. Call us today at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly.
Chevrolet.
This is Zach Gelb with the Sports Minute, sponsored by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Please gamble responsibly. After tonight, we'll know who the 8 teams remaining are in the NCAA tournament. And then Chris Beard and Ole Miss will pull off the upset against Michigan State. And then have the third time being a charm for Tennessee up against Kentucky. And I'll roll with the number 1 seeds in Auburn against Michigan and Houston against Purdue, as both the Tigers and Cougars will continue their journeys, punching their tickets to the Elite 8. I'm Zach Gelb.
Ready to shoot your shot? Log into BetMGM and make your picks in our March Matchups $250K Pick'em for your chance to win a share of bonus bets. It's free to play and easy to get started. Just log into your BetMGM account and predict what will happen at different points throughout the college basketball tournament. You'll earn points with every correct answer, which gives you a shot to win a share of bonus bets. That's right. Just pick what will happen throughout March Matchups, and if you make enough correct picks, you'll win a share of the $250K in bonus bets. You think you know college basketball? Log into BetMGM and make your picks to win a share of $250,000 in bonus bets. It's free to play. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. Arizona only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
DK on the sports tip. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Country, not many places. This is exactly what Activate the Valley is. I don't know where else in the country, not many places you can go and be the first pitch on opening day as a collegiate athlete. And for the Diamondbacks to really embrace Arizona State football and Arizona State and do this is the definition of Activate the Valley.
All right, that was Kenny Dillingham, the head football coach at Arizona State last night. His players threw out the first pitch at the Diamondbacks' home opener against the Chicago Cubs. So ASU getting a lot of love up there.
Why, though?
Because they were the best team in the Big 12.
And that's why. So, 50 years in this state, DK, I mean, I've heard a lot of Activate the Valley type slogans, but the support from the Diamondbacks, Cardinals, and Suns fans towards ASU comes when they're successful. There's a lot of transplants. We talk about the Tucson area.
Right.
Same up there. So when ASU goes to the college football playoff in football like they did last year, but I'm not sure if that team goes 2-10 if they're throwing first pitches out.
Maybe not.
Definitely
not. More college football news today. Colorado's Deion Sanders gets a 5-year, $54 million extension through 29, making him one of the highest paid college football coaches in the country. His base salary will increase to $10 million this year. He will definitely be the highest paid coach in the Big 12 conference.
That comes with a $12 million buyout. So if any NFL teams want to come sniffing around, $12 million.
Well, yeah, I think most NFL teams probably have that easy.
Of course. I'm just saying, the buyout is, relative to how much in demand a coach is to go either to the next level or to another school. So $54 million over 5 years with a $12 million buyout.
The NCAA today put the kibosh on Deion's desire to set up a training session and dual spring game with Syracuse, which, again, I think is a brilliant idea. And I've said so for a long time, even before Deion brought that up. I said a number of years ago, I thought that's something that we should try to get done here in the state of Arizona, where you had the Wildcats and the NAU Lumberjacks and the ASU Sun Devils all conducting their spring game together as like a joint practice, joint scrimmage type environment, and call it a celebration of football and invite every Little League team from around the state and all the high school teams from around the state and make it all about football in Arizona. But, of course, the NCAA doesn't think that that's necessarily a great idea. Now, one of the things they said was that they felt like it was a little bit too late in the game to address that for this year because some teams had already completed spring practice And so that might be considered an unfair advantage to allow two teams to do that. But I think it's something that's going to be continued to be talked about. And like I said, I believe it is a very, very good idea for teams to do joint practices in the fashion that we see in the National Football League. For sure. I think that would be a lot more exciting way to conduct spring elements, to have two schools going out and practicing against each other. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And again, they may not use, we heard Brent Brennan, and we'll get more into football next week when we come back. We heard Brent Brennan say a few weeks ago, hey, we're not, even if we're going to do this, the Jamboree, whatever they're calling it, on April the 19th, we're probably not going to, use a lot of our top guys because you don't want your top guys out there getting hurt. So even if they did do a joint type of session, I don't think you're going to see the likes of Noah Fafita out there playing a lot. It's still going to be for your younger players, but it makes it more interesting. It makes it more interesting even if it is, Braden Dorman going out there as your number one guy. At least it's Braden Dorman against somebody else's defense, and you can kind of get an idea of how he reacts when he maybe doesn't necessarily know what's coming at him.
Can I just say that your girl Kim Mulkey has outdone herself? She looks like a bull rider from Asia. Like, she's got this like Asian pattern, black and gold, and it's like, man, she really knows how to dress for these games.
She is Kim Mulkey has set the standard for flamboyancy when it comes to the sidelines in women's basketball. And we've seen a lot of coaches adopting their own styles of fashion in how that is presented on game day. Dia Barnes does a pretty good job of presenting herself fashionably on game day. Speaking of that, we'll dive into Arizona women's basketball next week. Kim Doss is scheduled to join us on the show. That will be on Monday. Right now, though, it's time for your Desert Diamond Casino replay. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet. We had a chance to catch up with Arizona men's basketball alum Justin Wessel, basketball class of 2001, a little bit earlier, getting caught up on his life and memories of playing in the 2001 national championship game.
I've got girl, boy, girl, like 15, almost 13 and 11. Volleyball and soccer. Volleyball is big in our house. My son's playing hoops, so I'm on the volleyball circuit with my older one, which is such a small world because 2 weeks ago I was sitting with Mike Bibby watching his daughter at the same tournament, and Miles Simon would have been there with his daughter, but she's got a little injury. So I crossed paths with those guys. And I tell you what, there's nothing like seeing Mike Bibby argue with a volleyball official, this NBA great, Arizona legend, and he's arguing about volleyball calls, and I don't know what the hell's going on. But it's hilarious, though. You just go with, as our kids get older, we cross paths with everybody. That same team that Mike's daughter plays for, the Arizona Storm out of Phoenix, Marissa DeLee, who was a stud on my wife's volleyball team that went to the Final Four. Her daughter's on that team, so it's just the whole Arizona culture that we went to school with, not just basketball, but all the sports. It's just so fun to be part of here 20, 25 years later.
Justin Wessel joining us. So, Justin, did he leak to you at all that he was looking at Sacramento State?
No, and I'm pissed about it because we talked a lot about him trying to get in the NBA and all kinds of stuff, and his son Michael Dane was there, who was born actually when we were in college. And I was literally with them, and we talked coaching forever. And then 3 days later, I see that. So trust me, there was a little messy text was sent to him just to give my stance on the displeasure for not letting me in the loop there.
Well, I'll share with you, since you're an Iowa guy, I'll share with you that I'm a USC graduate, and I was a basketball manager there under George Raveling, who was obviously at Iowa prior to him making his exit out of Iowa City to head to Southern California as well. So you came and you were a member of that. I mentioned a walk-on in 1997. Just what was that experience like for you to be a part of that group with we talked about, you mentioned Mike Bibby, and obviously Josh Pastner got a new job this week at UNLV. What was it just to be a part of that group?
It's so funny. I was kind of planning to redshirt coming in, and I ended up breaking my foot right before the Christmas break. And
that year, a lot of people will remember we finished terrible in the conference, and we were sitting there with all these, at the time we didn't know, but you kind of had an idea that there's a lot of NBA players on that team. And just that run in general, it almost felt like I was in high school again, like at an AU tournament where you just expect to win and you didn't quite realize the stage, how grand it was, and just how it was like we never flinched. There's a couple of those games early where, a couple shots go a different way. Maybe we're in trouble, but it just seemed so easy. And it's funny to say that just to get to the Final Four. And the next year we went to the Elite Eight, and the same thing. It's like, oh, we're just going to go to the Final Four every year. And then obviously we had a couple early exits the next 2 years. And then when we went back my senior year with obviously pretty much a different nucleus, the pressure was definitely a lot higher at that point because, we're older and we kind of knew what was at stake compared to those first couple of years with all that talent and didn't really know what we were doing. We were just playing basketball.
That is Justin Wessel, Arizona basketball class of 2001. It is your Desert Diamond Casino replay brought to you by Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet. Funny story there about Mike Bibby. Hanging out with Mike Bibby. Mike was not telling anybody he was talking to Sacramento State. Interesting stuff there. All right, don't forget Arizona baseball coming up on Saturday for you right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We'll have games 2 and 3 of the series against the Baylor Bears. Brian Jeffries will be back behind the microphone. 5:45 broadcast time tomorrow. 11:45 broadcast time on Sunday. Appreciate everybody who was a part of these broadcasts today. Justin Wessel joining us, Matt Moreno for Cricket, for J-Dub, for Dragon Ball. I'm David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bear down, Arizona.
From the AutoNation Honda and BMW of Tucson Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions reported Valencia and Camino de la Tierra and Valencia and in Oro Valley, Oracle and Suffolk and Oracle. Some slowing backups for westbound Ajo at Mission and slowing on eastbound I-10 approaching Ajo Kino. 57 the low, 80 as our high and breezy this weekend and about 82 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. If you have a spicy side, Taco Bell now has a menu to match. Taco Bell's new caliente sauce made with red jalapenos is the spicy side of Cantina chicken. Try it today, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact store for availability.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Don't miss out on any of the action as the University of Arizona takes on the Big 12 Conference.
What again? Caleb Love now taking over the game.
You're listening to the flagship home of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up with science.
Smart solutions to eliminate bugs, bees, and weeds this spring.
Science nerds, choose Essential.
Essential Pest Control leaves bugs belly up. Call 886-3029 or visit essentialpest.com.
It's Truck Month at Oro Ford, and the savings are huge. Get $11,000 off MSRP on new 24 Ford F-150s, or take $13,000 off MSRP on a new 25 Ford Expedition. Want adventure? Drive home a new 24 Ford Bronco with $6,000 off MSRP. And here's the best part. Oro Ford is an easy drive from anywhere in Tucson, and you'll pay 2% less in taxes. Only at Oro Ford. Oro Ford, where Tucson saves on trucks. Restrictions may apply. See Oro Ford for details.
Sure do love this time of year.
Me too. People smiling at each other. Sun is shining.
Everybody singing those holiday songs.
Holiday songs?
We're talking about Alaska vacation season, right?
Yeah, but
there aren't any Alaska vacation songs. Oh, wait.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an elastification, it will always blow strong.
Like angels from the heavens.
Not even close to that.
But when Alaskan AC performs our exclusive elastification, it's primed and prepped for the coming summer heat.
And every elastification comes with our guarantee of no breakdowns all summer long.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an elastification, it will always blow strong.
Still no angels.
But people love singing it. Come on. If you want your AC to last,
no.
Do we have to sing?
Yes. All summer long with an elastification.
No.
Okay, but don't come crying to me if you Scrooges don't get anything from the elastification bunny.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an elastification, it will always blow strong.
We are your home for all things Arizona basketball. 3 hours of pregame.
They're not going to finish the season 19-1, guys.
2 hours of postgame.
I guarantee you Coach told the guys don't come over and help on him.
And all the action in between. Wildcats Radio 1290.
It's the $10,000 quiz show. Okay, contestants, these are things that save you money. Ready? Here we go. It's Tucson's only place to save up to 40% on all your favorite tobacco products.
Tobacco Barn.
You pay no city or state sales tax because they're on
the Indian Reservation.
And save up to another $3 off with a coupon at
TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Excellent. Now for the big savings. At Tobacco Barn, you'll save up to
40% off.
And because they're on the reservation, you pay no
city or state sales tax.
And at TobaccoBarnTucson.com, you get
a coupon up to $3 off.
What you are if you waste your money shopping somewhere else.
Crazy?
Nuts.
Stupid?
A few tacos short of a combo plate?
Wow! Tobacco Barn, Tucson's most watched savings show. Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia. Check your local listings or TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Nobody covers your Cats like we do.
Touchdown, Arizona.
With press conferences, coaches shows, and play-by-play, we bring you all the stories, highlights, and analysis of your Arizona Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. What does it take to work for Arizona Athletics?
Whenever we hire anyone, we talk about high, low, high. High character, low ego, high outcome and energy.
We are your home for U of A sports. Wildcats Radio 1290.
JR Sport Brief.
Hey, JR, in a sports world where everyone's talking real fast, I really appreciate.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
It is the JR Sport Brief show on the Infinity Sports Network. I'm coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you to everybody tuned in and listening all over North America. Man, it's the end of March, but the madness is upon us and it is active. Michigan State refuses to. They've now taken the lead against Ole Miss. Michigan State is leading 55-54. There's about 6 minutes to go here in the game. Meanwhile, Tennessee and Kentucky, they just came out of halftime. Tennessee leads Kentucky 45-32. We're going to keep you all up to date on these two games as this show continues on. And we got two more games tonight as well. We got Auburn taking on Michigan. We have Purdue and Houston. We talked about all the games. We talked about the matchups. We've heard from the coaches. Hey, thank you to our guests who've joined us as well. Matt Muehlbach joining us, covers all things college basketball for Fox and ESPN. And then to talk about a new deal for Deion Sanders in Colorado, we were joined by Brian Howell, beat reporter for the Colorado Buffaloes. Deion Sanders signing himself a nice 5-year, $54 million extension. We talked about some coaches who might be leaving, like a Kevin Willard in Maryland. We talked about some coaches that have been fired, or a coach who was fired, Taylor Jenkins of the Memphis Grizzlies. Whoever thought a winning coach would get the boot at the end of the season? What a world. What a world. And then we talked about a quarterback who wants the boot. Kirk Cousins wants out of Atlanta. He's out here taking photos, hanging out with fans in Cleveland, Ohio. He's got nothing to do with Cleveland outside of that's where he wants to play. And so we have so much more to get into before we wrap things up. Of course, at the end of the show, we'll talk about a few things that took place this day in sports history. It's kind of crazy. Today is already March 28th. How the hell did we get here? Hickey, what is this, a fourth of the way through the year already?
Yeah, wow, yeah. Yeah, 3 months down, basically. We are cruising.
When is April 1st? Is it Tuesday or Monday?
It is Tuesday.
Wow.
You an April Fool's guy?
Am I? What does that mean? Like, do I fall for jokes? Do you
enjoy the holiday? I think some people enjoy the nature of April Fools. You don't seem like a jokester, but you never know.
I am old, man. I ain't think about that crap. Okay. Like, I'm not believing anything. The thought is not. Hickey, I will wake up and I won't realize it's April 1st until I sit here to do this day in sports history. Okay.
I hope you're right, because that's a day where I'm going to throw my phone out, because so many brands, people want to get cute. Oh, let me just do, whatever. So-and-so is traded. So-and-so is fired.
Right.
Oh, April Fools. Well, great. I hate April Fools.
Oh, boy.
So I hope that it's a smooth day, a normal day, to the point where you forget it's April Fools until 9:40 Eastern. That's my hope.
What's something that you wish would happen on April Fool's Day?
That's real?
Yeah.
Oh, coach getting fired for sure.
Which coach?
That'd be. I don't have a preference.
Oh, okay. All right.
Maybe hockey. I don't know.
Imagine if Luka got traded on April Fool's Day. Like, imagine if they waited. I mean, you can't do it, but imagine if that were the case and it were really true, right?
Shams like, no, seriously. This is not a joke. It's real.
Well, he did that on that Saturday night, right?
So imagine you do it on April Fool's
right.
Day
He's like,
itself.
It's like, I did not get hacked. This is real. This is real. Wow. What a world. Some crazy stuff here, man. There's some crazy stuff. Well, I just can't believe March is almost done. You give it another week and a half, and week and change will be crowning a national champion on that Monday night. I'll be playing that stupid, miserable-ass song, One Shining Moment.
You don't like that?
No, it's corny. The song is from what is that? What is that song from, the 80s? It's supposed to be nostalgic. It's 2025. I'm surprised they don't just get like Travis Scott to redo it or something like that, right?
That's what you want?
No, that's not what I want.
Spice it up a little bit?
That's not what I want. I don't know. Travis Scott, what's that? He has a song. I don't even know what he's saying. Just go, fiend. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I feel like a lot of commercials now. I didn't even know that's what the actual word he was saying.
It's what it sounds like to me.
No, I think you're right.
I don't know.
More. Yeah, no, that sounds good to me. Yeah.
Evan is here with us. Evan, do you know you like Travis Scott?
I do like Travis Scott. It's Fiend, F-E-I-N.
Fiend?
Fiend.
So you fiending for something, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like you want it real bad, fiending. Right, okay. So not fiend, like, well, that's the same thing, isn't it? If you're a fiend, you want something real bad. If you're fiending for it, you want it bad too. It's the same thing, right?
I think fiend with a D might be past tense.
So there we go. Same thing.
Wait a minute. We have hey, you went to college. You just went to school, right? You went to Fordham University?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's right. It's fiend is the past tense of fiend?
I think so. That was not part of the curriculum at Fordham, but I believe so.
Fiend is the what would that be called? The current tense?
Yes, present tense.
Present. There we go. Current. What did I call it? Current, present tense? Okay. What'd you study? English?
Journalism.
Oh, okay. All right. You have to write a bunch of stuff. All right. And Hickey, what did you study?
Same thing. Journalism.
Wow.
Broadcast journalism, I think, technically.
You haven't been to school in a while, though, Hickey, okay?
2016 was a long time ago, JR.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. 10 years ago, almost. I'm giving you full 10.
Oh, man. I feel real. That actually hurts.
Yeah, I'm giving you a full 10. I learned something new today. Fiend. Okay. And what's the song about? Help me out, Evan. Go ahead. Tell me more.
I honestly have no idea what the song is about except for saying the word very loud a bunch of times.
Is there more words in that song? Are there lyrics?
There are, but they're also very hard to tell what he's saying. The same thing as Fiend.
Why do people pay money to go see him?
I don't know. I personally don't.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, there we go. Let him do one shining moment. Hickey, that song, Teddy Pendergrass, Luther Vandross did that song. Luther Vandross, neither one of those guys are alive anymore.
Yeah, I think when you make that point, maybe a little refurbish. Maybe not, destroy the whole thing, but a little upgrade.
Well, I don't
remix.
even. Who sings R&B anymore to do that? You can't have Chris Brown do it. He can't do it. Oh my God, this song was written in 1986. It's time for a new one. Come on, man. 40-year-old.
So
song.
you're boycotting the song until it's changed?
I hate that song.
The ball is tipped.
I hate it. I hate that song. I was on the floor when UConn won, and they played. I was in the stands. I sat in the front. Okay, I don't know what row I sat in, third, fourth row, and then the game was over. I went onto the floor, and they started playing that crap, and I'm like, this sucks, man. I've been on. I've been to enough championships. I've never been on the field for a Super Bowl or an NBA championship. I guess those are the two biggest. But college championships, I've had my share. I've been on a EuroLeague championship floor before. I think Panathinaikos beat somebody in Berlin, Germany, like 2009, 2008 or something. I went out there. And it's fun. It's fun. They shoot off the fireworks. Icky, I was just at the Cheez-It Bowl, okay?
Oh, world famous Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah. I think South Carolina beat Illinois. I think.
Other way around, Illinois.
Oh, Illinois beat Hickey.
When you're busy in the Cheez-Its, the game doesn't even matter.
Yeah, listen,
you were
Hickey,
the star of the show.
Hickey, people were telling me, hey, what happened? They fighting. What happened? I'm like, I'm in a bowl of Cheez-Its, okay?
That game may as well be on Mars right now with what's going on.
I don't know.
What you got going on.
People are asking me for Cheez-Its. The band members want to eat the Cheez-Its that I'm sitting in. The security guy is asking me, are those real Cheez-Its? The Cheez-It people are talking to me. Like, I don't know what's going on the field.
Are those real? That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they're real Cheez-Its. People want to eat them, bro. Come on.
Do they give you Cheez-Its after that? Do they give you like 100 boxes or something like that? Or is that just the ones you got in the bowl?
I have a commemorative box.
Oh.
To celebrate the, here we go. The Cheez-It. The Citrus Bowl. It's in my cabinet. It will probably go untouched for the next, until I'm dead. My kids will have it. My kids will have it.
It's commemorative. You can't open that up.
They'll open it up, and they'll go, what is this? I bet you those cheeses will still be in pristine condition 50 years from now.
You're probably right.
Have you ever opened up a box of trading cards? Like old trading cards, and the bubble gum was in it? You ever had that?
Not in a while, but I know what you're talking about, yes.
And that gum is like concrete, bruh. Oh, my God.
The good old days when it was like fresh?
I'm stupid. What do you mean fresh?
I'm saying like when the gum was actually made to where it's like now it actually aged and it's not still in good condition 40 years later.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
That's better gum where it's fresher.
You think the gum they make nowadays is like nuclear? It could last through like warfare?
You put some of those packs, you bury them underground for like 50 years, I think they would be A-okay.
It's like McDonald's burger, right? A McDonald's burger, you could make it today. It'd be good 60 years from now.
Or a Twinkie, right? What did they say? Could survive a nuclear holocaust? Wasn't that the whole thing with Twinkies?
Imagine putting that in your body.
And people didn't put a lot of them in their body.
Well, yeah, and a Twinkie could last a nuclear blast. But your body can digest it, I guess, right?
I guess that's why no one eats them anymore.
Twinkies? People don't eat Twinkies? You sure about that?
I have not seen or heard a Twinkie reference in, years.
Can you get a Twinkie out the vending machine upstairs?
No. Not here, at least.
Can you get a Twinkie from the nice guys downstairs in the corner store?
I have to look. I can't say I've been looking for a Twinkie, but now you mentioned, maybe I'll keep an eye out for like a local bodega, because I think that's the place to find it.
Wow.
New York City bodega with some older
A Twinkie?
old
Oh,
things.
yeah. They have all the pastries. Those things last a long time, too.
The coconut baseball.
Oh, my God.
That was like pink.
Whoa. Wow. With
That's
the
what
hair,
I always wanted because it looked good, but never
it
had
looked
it.
hair. It was nasty on the inside. It looked like hair. Looked like hair, the little coconut hairs things, right?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, yuck.
And they sat in those packages unopened for a long time.
You ever been in a bodega and looked at the stuff there and it was all dusty?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, don't you at least want to dust the stuff off a little bit?
Try. Make it look somewhat presentable.
Yeah, why does the expiration date is like tomorrow? And it's dusty there. It has like a black film on the plastic wrapper. You mean to tell me you selling this? Yes, you want to buy it?
Could we put the cat away, too, to like the nighttime hours, please?
Yeah, let the cat kill the rats later in the day.
When no one's around to see it.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be sitting on a loaf of bread at 11 a.m. in the morning.
Let me pretend that bodega is clean, okay? At least in my
yeah.
mind.
While he's making a bacon, egg, and cheese. Yeah, right. He's making a bacon, egg, and cheese over here, and the cat is sitting over here. So you mean to tell me the cat doesn't shed? So you don't wipe up the dust off of the packaging, but the cat hair is, I guess, just plentiful in the back.
I guess the cat is probably like the duster, they assume. You know, a cat sits on the loaf of bread. Well, that would just wipe off the dust. No worries there.
Man.
What world are we living in?
I don't know. A crooked one. A crooked one where if you had a perfect bracket, you could have got sent to Mars. I don't know.
Could have got sent on a death march.
Yeah, right.
Congratulations for making history. Here's your reward. Death.
Yeah, impossible. Nobody has a perfect bracket. As they show, what's that guy's name? Old forehead man. They show Peyton Manning sitting inside Indianapolis. Kentucky trying to go on a run. Tennessee leading Kentucky 55-42. Meanwhile, Michigan State and Ole Miss, they are going down to the wire. It's 65-63. Michigan State leads Ole Miss. There's about 90 seconds left in the game, which means that the screen here in the studio with me is not going to work because the game is close. Of course, things don't work when you need them to work. But we got a good one, so we will keep you up to date as things continue on. We did talk about Kirk Cousins, what a fraud he is. We talked about Deion getting his new contract. And you want the details? We got hit with the details earlier today on CBS Sports HQ. I want you to take a listen to this. As Deion is not leaving Boulder, he can afford as many Twinkies as he wants.
We have breaking news into CBS Sports HQ, where Colorado has signed football coach Deion Sanders, who has agreed to a contract extension that will make him one of the highest paid coaches in the country. Our own Matt Zenitz reports that Coach Prime's new deal will pay him better than $10 million a season through the 2029 season, making him the highest paid coach in the Big 12 Conference. Sanders led the Buffs to a 9-4 record this season in Boulder.
Good for him. We don't know if he's going to stick around for 5 years, but good for him. He's going to get that cash. Good for Deion Sanders. He turned that program around. Meanwhile, somebody else got paid today. His name is John Harbaugh, the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. He got himself a 3-year contract extension, which means that if Lamar Jackson is healthy, the Baltimore Ravens will spend the next 3 years winning 12-plus games every year. It's just a matter of whether they get a little lucky in the postseason. I don't know, like beat the Buffalo Bills, beat the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Today's not all good for coaches across the board. Not at all. Because we do have one coach, he got the boot today. Taylor Jenkins of the Memphis Grizzlies. Despite having a record of 44-29, despite being the 5th seed, a couple of weeks ago they were the 2nd seed. They were the number 2 seed in the West. This man got fired today. Like, who he got beef with? The GM must really hate his guts to fire a guy with a winning record. What a world. And someone else who could not understand this, hey, we've had him here on the show. It's my main man, Antonio Daniels from Sirius XM NBA Radio. He couldn't believe it.
Taylor Jenkins is a fantastic coach. Taylor Jenkins is a fantastic coach. I don't know how you come to a conclusion like this late in the season and this close to the postseason. If it's, you make a playoff run and you get eliminated first round and, you don't accomplish or achieve expectation, I get it. But this right here, especially when Ja Morant is so in and out of the lineup, like your star player. But I've said this since the Luka trade. Nothing surprises me anymore.
No, nothing. It's pro sports. Nothing should be surprising. Ja Morant, I feel like I see him on the sidelines being a cheerleader more than I see him in action out there on the basketball court. Ja Morant this year has only played in 43 games. I get it. He's skinny. He's jumping. He's flying. He's dunking. He's doing everything except for playing basketball. Good for him. He's not throwing around ones getting in trouble this year. That's good. That's a good thing. It's the JR Sport Brief Show here with you coast to coast on the Infinity Sports Network. When we come back, I'm going to give you an update on Michigan State and Ole Miss. Michigan State has taken the lead 67-65. There's 33 seconds left in this game. Meanwhile, Tennessee leads Kentucky 55-43, about 11 minutes left in that one. We'll give you an update on March Madness. And then, we got faces who are staying. Taylor Jenkins is leaving. I'm going to tell you about an NFL player. He had his introduction today. It was much nicer than Russell Wilson's. I'll tell you who made his debut in New England. We got so much more to do. March Madness is here. It's the JR Sport Brief Show, the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone, any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
The jungle has moved afternoon, so grab your best Tucson tuxedo and join us on the Jim Rome Show weekdays from noon till 3 p.m. right here on the flagship home of your Arizona Wildcats, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
No 2 people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app?
we thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We bring you all the news and stories of your Arizona Wildcats. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Wildcats Radio 1290 for the latest highlights and commentary. Your home for U of A athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
During periods of economic uncertainty, gold should be the safe haven you're looking for. Unlike stocks or bonds, it's a physical asset that gives investors peace of mind. Gold has been a valued investment for thousands of years. It's why I put my own money into things like gold with Advantage Gold, because I believe in diversification. Call 800-900-8000. Join me in this investment strategy. Folks, when the stock market has its ups and downs, gold remains a rock-solid asset. It's not just a hedge. It can be a proven safe haven for your hard-earned money. If you're looking to help secure your financial future, now's the time to diversify, to add gold to your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call my friends at Advantage Gold today. They're the experts I trust, and they'll walk you through everything, step by step. Call 800-900-8000 right now. Take steps to control your future. That's 800-900-8000. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Hi, this is Adia Barnes, head coach of Arizona women's basketball.
Shoot a three that's up and good.
And you are listening to the home of Arizona athletics, Wildcats Radio 1290.
You're listening to the JR Sport Brief.
Thank you for getting my call in. This is my first time, but I've been wanting to call for a moment. But I just needed to say tonight, thank you and God bless you. I have listened to your growth and your maturity for a long time, and I'm very pleased with where you're at now and how you use your platform to be fair, to be equal, to be just.
Here's JR.
I don't know about all that. I don't. But thank you, though. Thank you. Just, fair, and mature, I guess. I don't know. But thank you. Anyway, how about this? Michigan State. We basically moved on to the free throw game and don't turn the ball over. Michigan State currently leads 69-67 against Ole Miss. There's 13 seconds left in the game. Michigan has the ball. They're going to try not to turn it over. No miraculous nonsense. This always kills me. What takes so long with the foul? Good for them. They get 2 seconds off the clock. Michigan is at the free throw line. Where's somebody to just you don't want to push the living hell out of the guy and incur a flagrant. But when it's time to foul a dude, it's like people are so unsure. You got to foul him. What are we thinking about?
I agree. Get in there, make sure the referee can see it, and let's save as much time. I agree. Don't let him run around and make an extra pass.
Yeah, just taking too much damn time. The winner of this game will take on the winner of the next game between Auburn and Michigan. And by the time this game finishes up, by the time they start that game, we're going to be done. We're going to be walking out of the door here. Meanwhile, it looks like Tennessee's going to have no problem dispatching of Kentucky. Tennessee leading 65-48. There's about 8 minutes left. Kentucky is going to have to go on a run and do it very, very soon if they want to dare get back into this game. I need to let you know about this right now. The NASCAR race preview. It's sponsored by WeatherGuard, truck and van equipment. They're just as driven as the hard-working pros that they serve. Kyle Larson, fresh off his first win of the season last week at Homestead, Miami, he gets set to make it 2 in a row as NASCAR heads off to Martinsville, Virginia this weekend for the Cookout 400. Early predictions have Larson as the favorite to win on Sunday. That's your NASCAR race preview, sponsored by WeatherGuard. Hick, you ever had cookout?
No, but I would like to. Is it good?
Yeah, it's simple, you know.
Like burgers and stuff, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, any burgers, hot dogs, fried cookout stuff. Okay.
Okay.
Like fast food stuff, you get a burger for I don't know. Depending on what you want, $4, right?
It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I think
burger,
the South
fries.
does it right when it comes to like fast food like that.
Oh yeah, we eat down here. What people do is eat. What you want, they gonna cook it. Okay.
Not bad.
Everything out here, man. It's crazy. Look at Tom Izzo. He's being kind, right? Maybe it's because he has the lead.
I think that's part of it. 4 seconds away from going to a Elite Eight. I think that could put a smile on your face, no?
Yeah, he's happy. Let's see how long it takes for them to foul. Push him, push him, push him. There we go. Oh, this game is over. I hate when it takes so long, Hickey. Oh, my God.
You know what's going to happen, right? Ole Miss is going to come down, hit a three. It's going to make a 3-point game with like 1 second left. Boom, timeout. Got to call it up. Draw up the play. How are we going to foul him so early?
Oh, man.
You know, we're due for that.
Let's chalk this one up. I mean, there's a kid, they just showed a kid on Ole Miss. He's crying already, so. They're done. They're finished. They ain't no coming back from this.
I know that's what you liked.
What, to watch the kids cry?
Yeah, seeing them upset.
No, man. Why you make me sound so mean?
Didn't we just talk to something like Monday? Like, oh, man, they show the kids cry.
Yeah, but I didn't say I'm out here rooting for the kids to cry. I'm just saying it's emotional for them. This kid looks like he's bald already. Is he old enough? What? The guy at the free throw line. He looks
like, with everyone moving around and leaving early, he looks like he's been there 10 years.
Yeah, he looks old. He going to miss a free throw? No, he made it. It's 73, so you got 4 seconds. Somebody's going to hit a half-court heave, right? Heave the ball, bruh. Heave it. It took so long. All right, game over, folks. Here we go. Wait, did he make it?
Oh, he made it, all right. He drained that bad boy.
He made a buzzer-beating three that counted for nothing.
It's the only problem. You're down by 6.
It is no 6-point shot.
No Josh Giddey celebration. No Stacey King reaction on that one.
None of that. Michigan State advances again. You got Tom Izzo going to the Elite Eight for the 15th time in school history. This is the 6th most ever for Tom Izzo, who's been around for the past 27 years. This is just the same old as Michigan State knocks off Ole Miss. Final score 73-70. Next up in the Elite Eight, we just got to wait a couple days. Oh, shoot, I guess it would be Sunday. Yeah, it should be Sunday. We'll have Michigan State versus the winner between our next game, Auburn and Michigan. At least the fans started to fill in and show up for this game at the end. Everybody certainly saw a good one. Tom Izzo just keeps on winning. This is what he does. Meanwhile, Tennessee and Kentucky, they're still going on. Tennessee 65,